Welcome to Grog Talk. I'm James.
I'm Dan.
We're live, and where are we live from?
We are from the Circled Star in the city of Barnacus.
Barnacus. Yeah, we woke up here. What a great inn. You picked how did you find that, on Travelocity? Or?
It got 5. Wait, does Travelocity have stars, or is that just Yelp? It had the highest rating.
Okay.
Very luxurious, run by 4 dwarves.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Go ahead.
I'm not sure we can afford this.
Well, we're gonna need. Yeah, it's great.
It's 2 gold pieces a night.
Now we're gonna go right to asking for patrons. Yes, 2 gold pieces.
We need money to pay for our Barnacus tab. We've been the tab we ran up last night in Barnacus.
Well, that was a lot.
What a night.
It was. Hey, I noticed you have purple dice now. Did you always have those purple dice?
I can't find my white dice.
So
they've gone missing. I'm endlessly missing stuff. And
I'm impressed. I'm actually observant enough to notice.
Thank you.
Was that City in Peril? This is why.
Yes.
This is why we have the Chamberlain, his most renowned, standing from Australia, David Thompson. He literally is encyclopedic in his knowledge.
He really is, and I did, and it's interesting that he points that out, because I do feel like people are a little bit on edge in this city.
They are.
Right?
They're in peril and on the edge.
I feel like it's in peril.
But I feel pretty good because we slept really well. It's like, I stayed at a version of Holiday Inn for 2 gold pieces. I feel amazing.
What do we care about Barnacus' problems?
That's right.
It's not our problems. We're just coming through.
We're leaving. We're out of here.
The reason I have purple dice.
Yes.
Because you know, James, I have an attention to detail.
Yeah. Yes.
These dice were used I bought specifically for the Halls of Tis and Thane.
Oh.
Purple Rogue, he liked purple.
I gotcha.
And you know what? I would bring these all the way to Gary Khan.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they fight Thrak at the end, who thinks he's Tis and Thane, I'm supposed to bring these dice out.
Oh.
Well, of course, you know what happened.
You didn't do it.
I forgot to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
And you have all the dice, which is good.
That's right.
You haven't lost any.
No, I've lost all the white. No, I've lost all the white ones. I've lost.
I mean, this like people. I don't know if you can see this, but this is like a caltrop. I mean, it's not really a caltrop. It's
caltrops are bigger than
they
I
are
thought.
bigger, but this is a massive 4-sided dice.
Because people bring I want to have like a dozen caltrops, like they're little jacks. I mean, a caltrop is large, right?
Right. Yes.
I mean, then they bring out a horse.
Yeah, they're supposed to be big.
You're not. They're
not jacks. We've talked about.
They're not right.
That's right. But this, as far as 4-sided dice goes, is very substantial.
That would be painful.
Well, that's good. Then I don't know if people can see this, but we have. Look at
Whoa!
This. I got this.
It's purple.
It is purple. That's why you just mentioned it, and I will give you this because my wife found these. Halloween ended.
Mm-hmm.
That someone thought this was a Halloween decoration. She got 2 of them, so I will.
Oh, thank you.
This is, in fact, you can take it. It's a time. I actually timed it. It's 11 minutes. It's not 10 minutes. So when you do it. It's 11 minutes, and we may need to use that here.
For each segment.
That's right, each segment.
you
get 11 minutes.
And that's it.
Yeah, so, yeah. It's.
I love it. Did you steal this from, did she steal it? She probably found this at a garage sale of Tis and Thane stuff, which had been looted.
Right, well, I think it's just super cool. And
property of Tis and Thane.
No.
It does say that on the bottom.
It's from, it's from the, from Greyhawk City of Greyhawk. It's,
Oh, it is?
It's a far import. It's an import, yeah. It's like the other place that we found that stuff. And it does do, let's see, it lights up.
Wow.
Can everyone see that? I don't think they can see all that.
So for those of you listening on the podcast, we have, describe, it's an hourglass.
It's an hourglass made of purple sand, and it has a dragon motif as it encircles the hourglass itself, and it's a gray color and has runes and probably summons demons or something like that. So yeah, it's pretty good. So I have a.
So a demon is coming in about 10 minutes.
In about 10 minutes. That's right.
That would be a new. That could be a new segment.
That's right.
Demons coming.
Demons coming in 10 minutes. Got it.
Well, Erdlin
or 11.
Erdlin eviscerated, or decapitated your James the serving boy last time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I like this. Very cool. Thank you.
I'll put it back over there. But yes, I have another one, so this is yours.
Well, we can. Okay, we'll keep this here though, right? As a set.
I have this. Unfortunately, they don't come in multiple colors. She got 2 of the same kind, so you can take it and use it as an hourglass for your dungeons or whatever.
Okay.
It's a prop.
Okay. Put it on my mantle.
Kind of an early Christmas gift.
I could put it as a centerpiece of the dining room table to see how my wife thinks. Right.
Well, there is something at Home Depot last Halloween, and I still regret. I have few regrets in my life.
Right.
I didn't do. One of them was, and Home Depot had a dragon, a life-size dragon. This thing was massive, and it breathed fog out. And it was $300.
Oh, that's nothing. Come on.
I should have bought it.
Well worth
and it was there, and it was gone, and I've never seen it since. Because I was like, I could put that somewhere in here. And this was before we took this room over for Grog Talk.
Yeah.
It would be. It would be.
That would be awesome. I was actually thinking about one of those. You know, they have these mounted dragon head, not as good as the one you're talking about. You know, but I thought that'd be kind of cool, right? Like not like what's his name, that actor from whatever that.
Oh, Joe Manganiello.
Right, he's got like this enormous, probably it's custom made and all. We can't afford that, obviously, unless the patronage has risen dramatically.
Yes, if you want to see it, if you want us to see your hard-earned money be spent on something as frivolous as a,
they want us to be happy.
They do. Well, I think they appreciate what we do, and we appreciate them. Again, I was speaking to one of our dear friends who lives in Japan yesterday. It's just, again, we've been very fortunate. We're almost coming up to a year. Huh?
Who is that? Who's
a Minion?
Minion, right?
Yeah,
Minion,
that's right. Yeah, he's out there.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you, David. We are the gold standard of poor YouTube channels. Yes, we are the standard.
Link to eating cereal.
Yes, and
here
and linking to eating cereal. That's right. Okay. So GrogCon, you know, we need to get together with Craig. I really want to start that sooner than later, especially if we've got people coming. Yes, you have an update?
I have an update. Well, there's talk about, so there may be a different location, a better.
Really?
I won't disclose.
Okay.
And there's talk about maybe September. We're looking at different dates.
Okay.
So we will, you know, once that's been decided, that's above our pay grade, but that's being talked about.
I don't know. I mean, obviously, the convention calendar is probably something that people look at and try to figure out. I know for us, some of the people who came in, they had to make a choice between our event and Gamehole, which was like a week or two after. So when is GaryCon? That's in March. So there's another event. You know, basically, you know, in a country, in a world, there's conventions all the time.
And that's what I was noticing, is that every time someone proposed a date, it was up against some other convention. Of course, their biggest concern is the miniature wargaming, because that's primarily what
their bread and butter.
Crucible does. I really think for us, I believe that our really only true competitors should be, I mean, obviously these conventions are, you know, GaryCon, we're not GaryCon, we're not North Texas, not even close to it. But, you know, these other conventions, if you look at these other conventions, the amount of, you know, take a convention like Gamehole, the amount of 1E games is not significantly different than us, and a lot of them are, you know, it's half of them are Carlos Lysing.
Yeah,
we have two. So Gamehole is a bit of, so actually, Gamehole is a competitor because of Carlos Lysing. What?
Really?
Carlos, we got to keep Carlos from going to Gamehole. Exactly. That's not a competitor anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the only reason it is a competitor. But most of these big conventions, old school gaming like 1E, we've got basically as much as you'd be lucky to find one or two 1E games.
Yeah,
we ran conventions.
Right, we ran at least almost 12 games of 1E, and that was just the first time. So, okay, well that'd be. I mean, September is just as good. I think, you know, unfortunately for you, school is during that time. So, you know, maybe earlier in the semester is probably better in some ways. It really depends how it falls. I know it was a little bit of a burden because you had some work to get.
Your early is better for me actually, because it's, you know, class number 1, talk about the syllabus.
Okay. That's right.
Right. You're dismissed.
Again, thanks to our patrons, they received an early edition of The Adventures of Pixie and Glade, which unfortunately by popular demand, people are asking for more Pixie and Glade.
Yeah, they like to see a train wreck.
They want to see more Pixie and Glade, or they want to hear more Pixie and Glade.
It's like they're the two stooges.
Hey, but people love it.
When I eat the Adventures, I know we got to get the Adventures out to you.
Yes, that's right.
That's on me.
Yep, I'm going to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting them out. I was going to compile them all at once. I think as we get one done and we clean it up, we'll just publish them so people can start getting them right away. So again, thank you to our patrons. Thank you. We didn't get any reviews this week. Vic has said this is Groggy. That is, he's determined the name. So
he's entitled. He made it.
He made it. So
I like that name.
I like Groggy.
Groggy, it's perfect.
And we're talking about some. You know, I think the next thing for us, you know, in this progression of setting up a channel and community is some merch. I think we've been talking about some merchandising.
I didn't know what that was. Like, what's merch?
Oh, I'm sorry, merch. Yes, merchandising. So, you know, one of the things we talked about as far as GrogCon for next year is having T-shirts and this and that. So we really need to, you know, over the holiday break, at least talk about some of our merch. And I know that Vic, our Scourge of the North, has stated he may be willing to sell those, producing these for people. Groggy's for others. So if you in the
son of Groggy,
that's right, the offspring of Groggy, the spawn of Groggy.
Spawn of Groggy.
If you have ideas of merchandise that you would like, let us know. Either send it info@GrogCon or in the chat. We'll pick that up.
That's what we could do. Dice, and it could be called merch and dice.
Merchandise. That's
Or
that's
it could
good.
Be, or it could be grog shop. A grog shop is, I believe, in a British term. Grog shop, I think, is like a pub or something like that. I think. So I think there is something called a grog shop. So grog shop is good too. But I also like merch and dice.
I do like merchandise. So we're not going to do that if people are not interested.
I'm not going to buy it.
Yeah. We don't want to spend our money and yours on stuff that people don't want. So
we're gonna use their patron money to create merchandise that they can then buy.
That's right. Yeah, that sounds horrible.
I love it.
No, that would be and some of it
not buy.
Well, and that some of it would have to be, if you're at a certain tier, you would get some of the swag. That would have to be it. Ye old grog shop. Exactly.
Ye old grog shop. Exactly.
Okay, so one of the things that we do owe is our dear friend Jeannie. She, I don't see Vic on.
Our Druid of the North.
Druid of the North. That's right. She is she needs her title.
Oh, and look at this. Do you know who wrote this article? What do you call a 25th level wizard?
I think I saw it before Len Lakaka.
No, it's Brian Bloom.
Oh, Brian Bloom.
Brian Bloom is allegedly responsible for which character class? If I've got this right.
The monk?
That's right.
Which is what was a good segue.
He was apparently he was into kung fu movies.
Okay, which is, by the way, the episode we're doing today. I'm kung fu, and I probably just insulted everyone. My kids were in taekwondo and karate, and
you didn't insult. Why did you insult them?
Well, by doing this pose, like this means like Scooby Doo or something. Like what was the dog? Hong Kong Fooey. That's
number
right.
Number one super
something. That's exactly.
Quicker than the human eye.
So terrible. Would some of these cartoons be on now in 2019? Is really the question.
No, they were. No, I think that some things stand the test. Scooby Doo stands the test of time.
Right.
It had a plot.
It had a plot. And it was and it generally was not cringy as far as some of the preconceived conceptions of gender, race, or whatever.
That's right.
I'm sure someone they didn't represent properly, but having an Asian Cocker Spaniel, whatever that Kong Kong Fooey was.
Oh, that's true. That probably was. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a little sketchy.
Yeah.
So
okay. All right. So it's
time to bestow upon a genie
the Druid of the North.
Yep. So we need to start with her first thing. Do you have a D30?
I do not.
You didn't bring the D30.
No, it's the white desk.
All right. Well, that's okay because we can do it with the D10 and a D6.
Okay, you figure it out.
And then divide it by 2. So yeah.
Carry the one.
Lancelot Link's Secret Chimp. I call them shows that they wouldn't make today. Oh, okay, cool. I have to go check that out.
Of course, introduce them to this.
Well, I have a segue. When we do our suggestion, there's something that I'm going to talk about that we want to. When I show Dan this, he's either going to love it or he's going to think like it's like the cereal thing.
I can't wait.
It's really amazing.
I'm excited.
All right, so let me figure this out. So this is 2013.
Oh wait, no, we're doing 15 for 13.
Yeah.
Commander.
Okay.
We already have a commander.
We always have a commander. Well, at least we don't have a Chamberlain. Be thankful.
That's true. You're right.
Commander, yeah.
Lady Protector would be good.
Her, right?
Her, but then we need to know: is it her most, her
ever? Well, we have to see what the next one is, basically, right?
I guess so. Sure.
Let's see what it comes up with. 7.
Grand.
Her most grand. That sounds good, right?
Her most grand.
I like that. And then we got another D30. So this is 23.
You said 23?
Yep.
Highness.
Her most grand highness. That's good.
Right.
So far, so good.
Sounds complimentary. 15.
Let's see. It's 25. Is 12 and a half. 13.
Empress.
Wow.
Her Highness Empress.
She's super high. Empress.
And if you address her and you don't get it quite right,
you're dead.
You're beheaded.
You're gone.
But she's a druid. I don't know what
D60.
she does. She entangles you. Yes.
Right.
All right. Yes. D60.
D60. So I have to do. Oh, geez, I have to do this twice. So I got to figure out the 30 first. Oh, so this is 30, and then it's 30 or 60. 30. So it's the bottom.
Strangler.
Wow. Strangler.
She strangles you. If you don't get her name exactly right.
Empress Strangler.
I love it. This is how she rose to power.
Right.
Strangling
She's
a bunch of people.
And 24, or yeah, 24 is 12.
12?
Yeah.
15, 14, 30. Dominator of. Right? 15,
Oh, I'm
14,
sorry.
30?
No, there's 30 of them. I apologize. It's 24.
Oh, we haven't done this one yet.
No, we did this one. This was Strangler.
Oh, so we're here.
Yeah, we're doing 24.
24?
There's 30 of them.
Scourge of?
You know, what's interesting because Vic is a
right.
scourge.
That's what attracted them to each other.
Yeah, they're both scourges.
You're a scourge? I thought they say opposites attract, but apparently not so.
Of the Northern Wood? Because that would be her.
Is that what his is? It's not Northern Wood.
No,
she's. Oh, because she's a druid.
Right. I'm pretty sure that's what they wanted.
You got it.
So, Jeannie is. So we're ready to give her a title. I spelled Empress, right? Empress, but that's okay. I'll figure it out later. How do you spell Empress?
Oh gosh. Are you actually going to the Google?
I'm gonna have to.
I mean, no, I'm sure it'll be right.
Empress. Yes. Not impress.
What is the correct spelling of? Why does somebody do that as a question?
Yeah, please don't do that. Well, this says I was pretty close, but okay. Yeah. All right, let's keep going.
All right.
We're on. I mean, literally every minute Dave is about to pass out, so I'm very cognizant of that, and I want to get his input. So we are now here to bestow Jeannie her well-deserved title. Jeannie's a very dear friend of ours and a friend of the channel. So, Empress. Is that it? I put Empress, but I'm going to put Empress. I don't think it is. But we're going to go with this. You guys can fix it later so we can move forward. We now bestow on the power vested in us as the emperor leaders of the Grog Empire. Jeannie is the commander, Her Most Grand Highness,
Empress Strangler Scourge of the Northern Wood.
Congratulations.
And I can tell you, look, I can tell you what Empress, I can get that really fast, right? Empress is, I can get that really fast. We're waiting. Oh, it says EMPRESS.
So he was right.
Empress.
It's just.
That's not Emperoress.
Yeah, it's Empress.
Emperoress, it's Empress. So I think to me, she's a Strangler Scourge.
Yeah.
Or, no, Empress Strangler.
Empress Strangler. That's it. She's the Empress Strangler.
That's kind of scary.
That's awesome.
That druid's scary, man.
She's a killer.
Wow. But you know what she strangles you with? The entangle spell.
Entangle, yeah. All plants and vines and other things.
She would, use her hands to do it. And what does she care? She you're a person, not a plant.
Right. There's plenty of you. You're like a scourge. You're too much. We talked about druids. They like the balance.
All right.
Strength strangles by entangles.
Yes.
Perfect.
Empress Strangler.
Very good. Very good. Okay, so we are ready for our random encounter.
Oh, let's do it. So we're going to start with, we do you call it the Dorso rule?
Yeah, we'll
the Fiend
stick
Folio?
with the Dorso rule.
So what is it?
1 to 3, it's Fiend Folio. 4 to 6, it's the other.
There you go,
good.
Fiend Folio.
Which is good because you misplaced your. I'll take my Monster Manual 2 back.
It's probably the same where. Oh, did you give me this?
Yes.
It's probably the same place as my dice.
Right.
All right.
I think that's saying you may have too much stuff now, where you just are
way too much
misplacing.
Way too much stuff.
Misplacing things. So we're in the Fiend Folio.
So you want to do a roll? Are you on a roll? I think a D10 here. Exactly,
that's right.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm going to get the Periton ready.
Heartless. Oh, that's right.
Heartless the Periton.
Heartless. Okay.
3.
You are in a dungeon.
I'm in a dungeon.
What a shock. All right, so now you have a bunch of levels.
I think it's the levels. Yeah, it's just D10, isn't it?
Probably.
I feel like
it is indeed.
2. Well, Periton's looking
Periton's
good.
going to win this one. This thing better have poison. All right, give me a percentile die.
Percentile
dice.
Okay. Well, we got a bigger table.
That's not good.
99. That's got to be good.
Vortex.
A vortex.
Is that the thing that has like little eyes or something? It's in the Fiend Folio.
I believe it is. That's cool. Vortex is the monster.
Oh no, little eyes. It's what you think. It's a vortex. Oh. And what I do like is that the Fiend Folio has continued the tradition of having the monster killing.
Right.
And
so on page 95 of the Fiend Folio, we've found Vortex is the monster. No, I wish it was Rock God. That would be cool.
AC 0.
AC 0. This could be interesting.
I've never played. Have you ever used a Vortex?
I have not. I don't know anything about it except I know the picture.
This is strange to me. The intelligence is non,
right,
but it has an alignment, chaotic neutral. I mean,
how can that be?
That's what I say. I mean, I get it
right.
that like it's neutral because it's not intelligent,
right?
And I get it that it's just chaotic because it just does whatever. It's like an ant is going to be well, ants are lawful. Is an ant? I don't mean a giant ant, though. You could look at giant ant. Yeah. A giant ant should be lawful. Don't you think? They're very orderly.
I've assumed all the creatures, especially if they're non-intelligent, were neutral.
There's a hierarchy. They should be lawful. Ants should be lawful neutral, because there's a hierarchy.
They have animal intelligence and they're neutral.
Shouldn't they be lawful neutral? Because don't you have your place? There's a strict hierarchy.
Well, do they think about their place?
Or that's the issue. Is it? Do you just act that? So that's the issue with the vortex. Does it just act chaotic because it does whatever?
Well, some of the folks are saying because it's from the plane of air and chaos is kind of normal in the randomness of it. But
okay.
I agree with you that it shouldn't have it doesn't care about the world order of randomness. It's not thinking about it. If it's non-intelligent.
Right. It's not like the vortex is going to get in trouble and have an alignment shift.
I think we may need to have like Steven Pinker on here, or some consciousness person, a philosopher or a neuroscientist, because I think Daniel Collins, we're going to have to ask him about that.
He's never coming back.
He hasn't done anything in 30 years in D&D. What do you think is the mental state of a non-thinking? Do they have an alignment?
Take, for example, the vortex.
The vortex.
What's your opinion on the alignment of a vortex?
Hello, Daniel. Are you there? He's like.
You know what I'll say? This is why I got out 30 years ago.
Because you guys are crazy. You guys are insane.
You're a bunch of idiots.
That's right. Well, we definitely need to ask him about alignment in neuroscience. I'm very curious about. I think that's a great question.
Oh, this poor guy. I hope he doesn't watch this episode. He's never coming on.
I think he would be okay with that.
And we'll be blamed for everyone who loves Aurelian and all our British friends are going to be angered that he went underground thanks to us.
Well, first of all,
the fish that got away.
We found him you persisted and found him and reached out like he was in witness protection, and he's like, "Oh yes, it is me." I mean, it was a good story.
Oh, thank you. All right,
he did a great job. So
thank you.
Read because I have no idea what it does.
Okay,
I've seen the picture.
Okay, well, first of all. What's its frequency? You just get. I mean, you don't know.
It's got to be very rare.
Excellent work. Number appearing?
1.
1 to 8.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
I know, right? AC.
Well, you told me it was 0.
And that makes sense because it's an
air creature.
Let me ask you this: air elementals. So when I started playing again, and I was at Gary Con, I think the first time, and there's an air elemental, and we're attacking the air elemental, right?
Right.
How do you do damage? I don't get that. Aren't I just going swords?
It has to be magical. That's why it's a +2 magic.
Oh,
you have to have +2 magic weapons.
I got it. So it's like cutting into its.
Right, the magic power is consumed. That's one of the problems with the elementals. You have to have a +2 weapon. So if you didn't have that, you're out of gas.
So they're on another plane too. Is that what it is? They're on the plane.
They come from the plane of air. Yeah, and that's why they're pissed because someone has summoned them here onto the prime material.
Oh.
They've been shanghaied. They've been.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's why they're not happy.
And they're both there and here.
No, they're here.
Oh, they're here.
They've been extracted out of the land.
So when I stick it, in a magic, is it a spell? I guess.
Yes, conjure elemental, and you memorize conjure air elemental.
And how long does it stay here?
Technically, it will stay here as long as you continue control of it. Over the spell itself, conjure elemental, and that's where. By the way, that's the spell selection thing.
We're talking about vortex, right?
Right, we're talking about vortex, but you summon it. Thank you. Yep. And we're going to the timer.
11 minutes.
We're going to the timer. Thank you, sir. And yes, when you summon it, there's a percentage chance each round or turn that the creature will turn on you, turn on the spellcaster, and then it lasts. The spell lasts, I don't know, a few turns or something like that.
So because the way I think a lot of us back in the day, you think about populating a dungeon. I think I still do in a way. Is you just drop things in there. Mm-hmm. But so if you really should just be dropping an air elemental. The question is why? How did it? And then like an orc that can come on it, right?
Well, I mean that is that has always been the ecology, Gary Gygax's ecology. I know there's been articles about that.
Right.
Some of these dungeons feel like funhouse dungeons. Why is there? In one room there's a sphinx, and in the next room there's a giant crab in S2, or So yeah, that's always a question. And then it comes down to, people want to have, they worry about the ecology. Okay, if you're putting orcs in the thing, how are they eating if they're trapped in a dungeon? Where are they getting their food from? How are they interacting?
Right.
That's always a question. Hello, Production Goblin.
He's back. All right, there's right over there.
The chair's right there, Production Goblin.
Where's he going? What's he doing?
What are you doing?
What?
Class. I used to go class. Yeah, this is what happens when you take classes on Saturday.
Our generation didn't care about school. We cared about D&D.
That's right, D&D. We just went to school to play D&D.
Exactly, right? During lunch.
That's right. During the class, if we were in the back. So.
During recess, when the jocks were playing football.
Exactly.
And hanging out with the girls.
When we were stuffed in our locker, we were playing.
Right.
Hopefully we were next to each other.
Dumpster. Well, that's how I met my D&D group, in a dumpster. Hey, what are you doing here? I just got thrown in here too.
Pitched in too. All right.
Yeah, let's play. What shall we do? Let's role play.
Awesome.
Okay, the vortex.
Yes. Appears
as a whirlwind.
Right.
4 inches high. Okay, I'm assuming again the inches.
Well, it has to be 40 feet because or else they wouldn't. That's clearly not 4 inches.
And
this is not Spinal Tap in Stonehenge with the little figure there.
That's right. That's right.
No one knows where they came from.
So that would be so 40 feet high.
Yes.
10-foot base diameter. And a 30-foot diameter at the top.
Right.
So it's like it's a tornado.
Yeah, it's a little tornado. That's what.
Right.
Baby tornado.
The larger ones, I love. This is what I love about the Fiend Following Monster. They say things like are believed to exist. Rumor has it. Are believed to exist on the elemental plane of air. Oh, look at that. So this one doesn't come from. These don't come from the elemental plane of air. Right. So when that first line would suggest vortexes do not. They are native to the prime material plane, because it said larger ones are believed to exist in the elemental plane of air. We got early controversy.
The larger ones are believed to exist. I don't know.
I don't think you need a magical weapon. We'll find out. I don't think you need a magical. If you don't need a magical weapon, that would support this. Right. They're just roving. All right. It appears to be free-willed. So chaotic.
Yes.
And cannot be summoned. The physical form of the vortex is a small sphere about the size of a grapefruit, which bobs and dodges about in the center of the whirlwind. I need to read that again. The physical form of the vortex is a small sphere.
Right.
So there's a little, bobs and dodges about in the center of the whirlwind. Its small size and its speed of movement make it difficult to hit. Wait, what am I trying to hit? The sphere?
Yes, you're trying to hit. Apparently, the whirlwind in and of itself is not what you're fighting. That's the result of this. Oh. It's like a Dyson fan. It's a fan.
I'm with you.
And the whirlwind is the effect of the fan.
So you shouldn't tell. So your players don't know the vortex. They may just be
attacking the wind. Exactly.
And nothing's happening.
Well, but that's what the armor class implies, because it's a generic abstraction.
That. So you would just do the 0. You wouldn't ask them what do they attack, and you attack, and then if you hit it, you happen to have hit the grapefruit.
Yeah, you got lucky and you hit the grapefruit. Right.
Right. Okay. Hit dice 2+2. Which is, I think, the hit dice of a grapefruit.
Yeah.
If a character is, quote, hit by the vortex, he suffers no immediate damage, but is caught in the whirling cone of air and starts to spin. Now, I like this. Don't you like this? This sounds good, isn't it? Thereafter, he can only be released when the vortex is killed, and will take 1 to 3 hit points of damage per round as a result of the spin. So that's awesome. You're like in a dryer.
Right, exactly.
Bouncing around.
You're being drunk, yeah.
And you're taking damage from what? Being really dizzy?
Well, apparently you're being tossed around like a dryer.
But what are you hitting?
What are you hitting?
You're just kind of like you're...
Well, I mean, look what's happening
here. You're
being thrown around. We'll take 1 to 3 hit points of damage per round
as a result of
the spin. Maybe you're getting sick. It's like a bad...
oh my God, you vomit?
You're vomiting.
Oh, that's what I would do.
Choking on your own vomit.
It's flying
Another
out.
Spinal Tap reference.
So
that's right.
Vomit is just sort of flying out at the player. That's what I would do. No, seriously, I'm really unhappy. But I would redo there's a percentage chance you're just popped out the top, and you just you take dice, 6 dice, 6 falling damage.
But you know why this creature may be very powerful in this segment is that you read this last paragraph. A single vortex, a victim trapped inside the vortex cannot hit the being's sphere. So once you're trapped, if you're by yourself,
this is over.
You're dead.
This is all I gotta do is hit you. All I gotta do is hit the.
All you have to do is hit.
So the Peryton's just flying along.
Exactly.
It doesn't see this sort of.
Right.
And could just get sucked up.
And get sucked up.
So this thing, why do I want to attack? Why does this thing want to attack anything?
Because it's
chaotic. I aggressive?
It doesn't say.
Do I eat it? Like, what's my nourishment? What's my sustenance?
These are good questions.
All right, hold on. But
who knows about the ecology of the vortex?
Additionally, there is a 5% cumulative chance for melee round of speeding Nazis of being killed. Oh, wow.
By particular violent air current.
So if you're in there for 20...
For 20 minutes, you're dead, no matter what you are.
No one can survive.
That's right. If you're on the extra spin cycle,
you know what would be cool is you could have this at like a bar.
Right.
Ride the vortex.
Ride the vortex. Okay. That's good too. Ride the vortex.
But how do you get out?
I mean, you should put that in the module.
No one's ever gotten out.
You know, like the mechanical bull rides?
I know, but you can't get out.
Well, someone would have to beat it down so you could get...
Your friends.
Yeah, they have to punch. All right, that's enough.
Right?
You beat him up too much. Go out.
Let him out. Let him out. He's going to die. It's like a Houdini thing in the water torch or whatever.
Well, that could be the thing. I can last, how long can you survive the vortex? That would be...
You think a Houdini thing. Like the only person ever who gotten out of a vortex.
19 minutes. That would be the longest anyone could survive, in theory.
Oh, that's it. So the longest. So like you'll do some sort of signal.
Right.
That I want out.
Right, exactly.
What's the record of Ride the Vortex?
Ride the Vortex. Well, I assume that the most it could be is 19, because if it's 20 minutes, you're dead.
That's right.
Unless some other miraculous thing. You could argue, because it says violent, it's not like it's being smothered. It just says, per round of violent air current. So basically, somehow you're knocked on, you're killed by that. So that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, the violent air current. A single vortex. I love this because you have 8 of these things. It grabs each member of the party. You're done. The whole party is just
this would be a TPK.
Vortex.
Clearly, that would.
Yeah.
Assassin grapefruit. That's what these are basically.
Really?
They got you. You're dead.
A single vortex is only large enough to accommodate one victim of human size, though it could contain 2 smaller creatures simultaneously.
Wow.
So it sounds like 2 halflings.
Or 2 gnomes.
Or 2 gnomes.
Which, of course,
right.
I've just found out the new way I'm going to
kill
murder gnomes.
Killing gnomes. That should be a segment.
I did. Wow.
A victim trapped inside the vortex cannot hit the being's sphere.
Yeah.
Only those who are not trapped. I like the vortex.
It is good. So let's go. Let's make this happen.
So they just sort of, but I don't think they're, I still question whether they're really aggressive. I mean, or are they just,
Well, we
walk into the vortex.
Look, this is Thunderdome. This is the these creatures fight for our amusement.
So is it like a dragon? Because you told me about the dragon effect. Is it like someone sees a vortex coming through town or on the countryside and you just run?
Oh, yeah, we would have to. If you knew what it was.
I'm sure there's no treasure type, right?
No, it can't be.
No.
Yeah.
So there's no.
It's
just
a big
run.
fat waste of time. Right, you should run.
Yeah.
Except they move at 15, so you're gonna have a problem.
They probably move kind of randomly though, or would you have them chase the party?
Well, you have to do a reaction roll. I mean, clearly they have an alignment. They have to have a reaction roll.
Parlay. Mr. Vortex.
Even though you have no intelligence, but you have an alignment, so it's odd. Well, first we got to do surprise.
Wait, it's odd. The Fiend Folio? There's something odd in
the
Fiend Folio?
Vortex is an odd creature.
I know, but you're suggesting there's an odd creature in the Fiend Folio? I'm shocked.
Peculiar.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
All right.
I'm the Vortex.
And on Kings Island, there was a ride called the Vortex. There you go.
Oh.
That would be good. You're the Vortex. I'm Heartless.
Unpleasant.
I'm the Periton.
So what are we rolling for?
Surprise.
Oh, you're definitely going to be surprised. You can't even see me.
It doesn't
give me a 5.
No, it doesn't say that.
Okay.
What are you changing the rules now?
Yes. Okay. All right, let's go.
So just to recall, Heartless, the Periton, had killed Stingley, ate its heart, and is breeding as we speak.
Reproduced.
It's
done.
Right, done its thing. It walks out of the cavern and
flying, right?
Well, it's probably flying around. Yeah, he's flying, enjoying the nice fall weather.
A good meal and reproduction.
Well, and it was cool up there in the mountains, but then there was some kind of thermal draft as it raises its wings and it's flying through thermal draft. But then it notices disturbance.
Some leaves.
Yeah, kind of spinning. Yeah, like the thing.
Beautiful. The beautiful leaves falling.
Beautiful.
The leaves are falling.
Yeah, and then it kind of spins into a circle and is being chaotic. Kind of decides, I want to check.
Oh, you're chaotic too.
I'm chaotic evil.
Whoa.
Yes, I'm heartless.
It's a chaotic battle.
It's chaotic battle.
Yeah, generally if you rip someone's heart out, that's leaning toward evil.
Yeah, I'm saying that's it. Well, after last week with the assassins, everyone was trying to give reasons why assassins could be non-evil. That was interesting.
Yeah, right. I know the evil with the big discussion. Yeah,
they're evil. So I mean, if you as a DM want to change it, that's fine. But that's I'm sure some of our folks would try to rehabilitate.
Here's the thing, though. And I guess I know. We're running out of time. Can the good person use the assassin for the betterment of good? So can you use the assassin to kill Hitler?
There you go.
So you got the Dark Lord,
I'm sure you could. I'm sure there's a scenario that the DM would. Again, I go back to who is your deity. If it's Thor, some deity of justice or vengeance, I don't think Thor is, and this thing wronged it, I don't see why that would be. But there still could be a consequence, right? There's always that moral dilemma. If you're trying to tell a story, right? There's always when good people move to the morally ambiguous, there's a price to pay. It may be the right thing to do. It's when the cop, shoots the drug lord, even though because he knows he's not going to get a court anymore.
Right.
There's always a consequence. In some ways, he sacrifices himself or herself for that. If you want to play that, I'm sure plenty of other folks would be like, yeah, that's totally fine. That's what's the difference? Why can't you use a sword? But I think that goes back to the code. Which again, we're talking about monks here. But that's a good segue because monks, they're all lawful. So we have to really talk about that code when we get there.
We do.
All right. So here's a surprise.
Periton
is not.
It's a 5 for people listening.
That's right. 5. Thank you.
A 5 for Heartless.
So none are surprised.
So now we're going to initiative.
Yes, the Periton, of course, is curious and is
aggressive. You're evil.
Sees the got a glimpse of this grapefruit and thinks it's a heart. It's an air heart.
Oh, that's right. Going for the heart. Yeah.
Going for the heart.
You can try to reproduce. It'd be it would be a Vortex Periton hybrid.
That's right. I think that would be amazing. So he rolled a 6.
Oh, no.
Heartless, she rolled a 6.
This is not good. The Periton's got massive damage, doesn't it? What does the Periton do?
Yes, +2 to hit.
Oh. 6 to 1.
6 to 1, yeah, that's the problem. Now, so here's the problem.
AC 0, my friends.
AC 0 is good. The problem is you need +1 or better weapon to hit. This hit dice is 4. So you can't hit.
Oh, I can't hit.
You can't hit, yeah.
This is boring.
But if you could hit, then he wouldn't survive. So, sorry.
So this is really just wasting time.
Yes, we're gonna.
You hit.
AC. What are you? AC 0? Probably not with a 9. I feel like that's a low.
You didn't ask to declare action.
I said I'm attacking.
You didn't ask mine.
What is your thing? You're
Flee.
Flee. Well, the Periton flies at 21, and you you move at 15.
Your Periton's mean.
She was your Periton. She learned everything from you.
Well, I actually got traded.
So yes, I mean we're not going to continue this because unfortunately, without a +1
Here,
weapon,
I'll just roll. Now you roll. What do you need to hit?
I need a 14.
You got to go through the motions.
Oh, I fumbled. No, I'm just kidding.
15.
You would have hit because they have a terrible armor class.
This is really compelling.
This is a miss.
Of course you're going to miss forever because I said we got to play this through.
There's a hit.
Hang on, I got to do my hit dice.
Go ahead, do your hit points.
Let's hope they're low. 10,
12. 12. Well, I do 4 to 16.
Wait till you realize.
3.
Yeah. 2.
5. 7. 8. So
how many did I have?
12.
So
4 points.
Who cares?
Okay. You continue to swing. You're frustrated that you cannot.
This is
oh, you even rolled a 20. That's too bad.
My best rolls.
I wonder. I wonder if what people would do that if a creature that could not hit magical, if they rolled a 20, would they on?
Yeah, I have to say it's a no.
No, I would say no, but
my God, just kill me already. You're making me look like a fool.
There,
all
19.
right.
There you go.
Oh.
Grapefruit.
Pop.
Pop goes the weasel. Pop goes the vortex.
Oh no, the joke's on you because when you go back and try to reproduce,
yeah,
I don't know what's happening.
That's a gaseous Periton. So.
It's not good. Oh man, the vortex is down.
Yeah, the vortex is down.
The Periton needs the Periton is made
rips the grapefruit heart out.
Maybe champ for a while.
Yeah, well, if it gets low level things.
Oh, that's too bad. Well,
is the vortex hitting the Periton or picking up? Well, I don't. Oh, that's a good question.
Oh.
I don't think you can. You have to make a hit roll if you're going to. I think so. The argument there is he really hitting?
Yeah, I'm just scooping you up.
Yeah, but I would argue you still have to make a to hit roll. Just like if I was like with heal or thing, I have to make it to hit roll.
But is that different than can only be hit by?
Well,
it doesn't say needs a to hit roll. Well, it says.
Oh boy, we have all the rules.
Oh boy,
lawyers,
we have to redo this.
Lawyers are out. Okay.
Thank you, Mannion, for sticking up for me.
Sticking up for
the vortex. I want you to ride the vortex.
So on page 75 of the DMG, despite special advantages protect certain creatures from attacks. This is your attack. You have your attack is this. If a character is hit, quote unquote, by the vortex, that's what it says. And
okay.
So he suffers no immediate damage. So, but that is the you have to make an attack. So it's almost
like I can't really even affect you. I can't touch you really, right? So even when I try to scoop you up, it's just going through you because you're.
I'm a magical, evil, demonic.
Are you on another plane too? Is that the problem? Why is it only plus? Why is it? I know this is like I should watch the last episode.
You know, your homework from now on is remembering what we do.
Right, is to watch the last episode. Why is it? Why do I need a magical weapon to hit you?
Yes.
Oh, that's right. We talked about this because it's something created by
like
what's his name now? Business.
Yeah, from what was the guy's name? Oh God. Emrakul, the chaotic.
That's what we decided.
Yeah, we decided. Yeah, he's and it's chaotic. It's chaos driven. So all right, well.
All right.
So now Heartless is survived another episode, which is par for the course.
Yeah.
They survived 2 weeks, and that means next week something else will horribly kill it. But I like the vortex.
You know who I miss?
Who? Yes, Goat.
Goatalicious.
Well, maybe you can find a goat cleric that will raise Goatalicious.
That'd be great. Yeah.
You know, he's still in the hearts and minds of you.
You know who I see vortex? I see using the vortex. Vic Dorso.
Vic Dorso.
Because you got these you travel over, and the vortex isn't you're in a dungeon, and it could be, and there's a vortex. But I view you're walking along the hillside, and then there's 6 vortices,
yeah,
are chasing you.
Well, that's it. I mean, if there's more than one, that could definitely. I think the challenge is it's low level. It's it's level 2 rated. So you're going to put it in parties with 2nd or 3rd level, and there's still a possibility, depending on how you run your campaign, there may be players who don't have good weapons or good skills. Hit AC 0.
Oh yeah.
To hit AC 0 as a 1st level or 2nd level fighter, assuming you don't have any bonuses, I think you need either a 19 or a 20. You need a 20. So.
Oh, and we need to talk about something. Okay, so Edward had noted this idea that the 20s, the string of 20s. Yes,
I've told you about the 20s. They changed. You can't just. That's why THAC0 doesn't really work in 1st edition. You're talking about the progressive 20 thing.
That you would need if you were like the 2nd 20.
You need a natural 20.
Oh, and then for the 2nd one.
Yes, correct.
And then what about the 3rd one?
So yes, Gary. Well, I thought we talked about this when we did combat, where we have one of our listeners thinks we're idiots, which surprisingly, if you watch our show, you hadn't figured that out. I was a little disappointed. It took him 6 episodes.
Why is he stating the obvious? Please, if you're gonna comment, tell us something new.
That's right. Don't be redundant.
Contribute something that's not already well known.
So I forgot where it is in the tables, but if you look regarding the combat tables, yes, see all subsequent 20s are natural 20s. Yes, it is on page 82, progression of the combat tables. And so that's the challenge with THAC0.
I see. Okay, so this we're on page 82 of the DMG.
That's right.
Oh, but so there it is. But so it's not that you need if you need so it's specified. We have a rule on so the 20 is the dire result plus bonus. Oh, so the 2nd one you need a natural, but then it's all just straight natural until you hit. Okay, got it. So that's actually not too hard to figure. 19, you get your bonuses. The first 20, you get your bonuses, and then after that, it needs to be a natural 20. Yeah. And then a 21 is a natural 20 plus at least a 1. Okay, very interesting. Thank you.
But why that's so important, especially at lower level, because higher levels you eventually get out of that. But it's critical because if you have a fighter with exceptional strength and they have a +1 sword, if they're 1st level and you have a creature that's -1 armor class, they still need a 20. They need a natural 20 to hit them.
Yeah.
That's a huge difference than if it's the first 20 and they have +2 for strength and a +1 sword and all this other stuff.
People are rolling like 23s all the time.
But that doesn't count. It's natural 20. So it becomes a moot point, once they get higher level. And typically most people's armor class is not -8, you're really being cruel with that. Right. And it's really effective against clerics and thieves. So again, it's skewed. It's another way to favor the fighter over some of the other things because they progress slower in the
because once you hit the 20, right, the sooner you hit the 20, that's bad news.
Yeah,
because the string. The string is bad.
Right. So for thieves and for magic users, the AC0, they need a natural 20 regardless if they have any pluses to hit for first level, for first through fifth level.
So so the 0 makes it really hard. You know, I have in my head when a vortex is attacking a party on like a hillside, I have Benny Hill music in my, you know, they're running around, they're running around in the vortexes. There's no reason to stay and fight. Well, I guess you have to stay and fight if it's going to be faster. If it's actually being aggressive and attacking you.
Hill Giant's always aggressive.
Oh, no. No, I mean, you're on a hill being attacked by a vortex.
Oh, a vortex. I
guess you better stay and fight if it's actually chasing you.
Yes, absolutely.
No point in running.
Oh, but there would be the reaction roll, and I think you'd have to do that. So
the reaction roll.
Oh, I love the reaction roll.
It's if you're parlaying. Isn't it only if you're parlaying? I just think like the mood they're in?
Well, if you look at the encounter, because I'm starting to think you have to watch. We did this in episode 4, Encounters. You start, no matter what the encounter is, okay?
We talked about matter what.
On page 61,
yes,
you have to figure out, there's the steps that you have. They're both surprise, initiative, but before that, it talks about encounter reactions. If you know, after initiative, you could argue any encounter can be conversed, and then it'd be a reaction roll.
But which can be conversed with. See, I always thought, which can be conversed with.
Yeah.
See, that is speaking.
Right.
In some way, so I always thought this is for parlay. You know?
Well, but the assumption is every creature that you encounter is going to attack you. Why would that be?
Oh, I agree with that. I agree with that completely.
Right. So
you know that I've got goblins saying like, "Hey, what's up, guys?"
Right. So how do you adjudicate? Then how would you adjudicate except without this reaction table?
Right.
Or some text in the monster description saying, you know, like the owlbear is particularly vicious.
Oh, I agree with that.
So I use this a lot of times if I have no idea.
Oh, okay. So I see. So even for the vortex, which is not intelligent, just to give you an idea of almost like randomly, instinctively what it's going to do. Like, is this cat like a cat? Right. I mean, will it attack me? Is it going to be okay?
I mean, if I used to play, if there was an encounter, there's automatic attack. But, you know, monsters, for the most part, they're only going to attack things if they think they're going to win. They're not going to just fight to the death. And conversely, super powerful creatures may not attack if they have better things to do. I mean, they would think of us, you know, and we were a creature, and we saw ants and bugs. Do we go around and smash everything we see, even though we're a jerk? No, we may do it randomly. You know, sometimes you cross over a bug.
That's the party.
That's right.
That's not the other guys. Why is there asterisk or morale check if appropriate? That's interesting. Violently hostile or hostile has asterisk and says or morale check if appropriate. Oh, does that mean that is that suggesting that they may not attack you? Look, I've never really paid any attention to that. It's an asterisk.
That's right. I'm telling you, the book is rules AF, rules, asterisks, and footnotes. That's
and in England, it'll be known as the RAF.
The RAF, that's right. Oh, here we go.
That's right. The RAF. Have a plane on it.
I love it.
Ace is high.
Ace is high. That's got Iron Maiden on. There you go.
Right?
Thank you.
Have you heard they're talking about Iron Maiden and Judas Priest might tour together?
Wow.
Rob Halford brought that up, and Steve Harris said that sounds like a pretty good idea.
They should, while we're still alive.
That's what Rob Halford literally said. Literally said that while we're still alive. And I'm like, yes, that's right. Everyone's thinking it. At least he said it. I like that.
The Crypt Keeper tour.
Yeah, that is a guy who is like facing reality. You got to respect that, don't you? Yeah. How long do I have left?
That's right. How many tours can I walk out?
Right? That would be awesome.
So that's how I used it for. But yes, to give the idea of, if again, same thing. Remember when Pixie and Glades got attacked by the wasps?
I'm kidding. I remember that. The random roll. They heard the buzzing.
Yeah. I could have, you know, I used distance, I used lighting, I used all those things to really kind of come up with, is this going to be an attack or not? Because if everyone's at attack, the party's never going to survive. If you do the Vic Dorso, if you're doing the overland crawl from one destination to another, and you accept all the encounters, they're not going to survive. There's no way.
That's your dungeon.
That's death, because especially if you're doing pure out of the DMG random, you could end up with the red dragon. And then
I mean, because the reality is the red dragon. If he just sees some people walking below, unless he's had he woke up on the wrong side of the cave, he's not just going to come down there and blast you. I mean, maybe, but you know what I mean. He's got stuff to do.
Right. It's like
appointments to keep. He's got to see Asmodeus,
or you know, kill princesses or whatever the dragon's got on the agenda.
He has much
bigger fish to fry.
Right.
Like the bee that comes by you
Right.
You may be annoyed and you may swat at it, but you're not going to chase it. Now, if it stung you, you're going to chase it down and kill it. But if it's in the flower bed, you're not just going to go after and attack it.
Because you know the old saying, don't poke the dragon.
Don't poke the dragon. And the dragon is not going to wait. Now, again, if it's looking for food, I mean, that's why I use the reaction roll, some table. Now, you could make up your own table.
Food, that would be fun. The dragon comes by. He doesn't like blast you with fire. He just he just scoops you up and eats you.
Right. Or he wants your horses. He wants to eat your horses, and you were just stuck on it.
Yeah, that'd be terrible. Like you wake up and you see an enormous dragon like eating your horse.
Exactly.
Nibbles. Nibbles is getting nibbled.
Nibbles is gone. It's just the back half of the horse still sitting out.
You know, you got to be crazy or high level to like have a problem with that. You're just like, okay.
Shh. That's right. Peace out.
Nibbles. Go running out.
Well, if you're a druid, maybe you'd be a little more bent out of shape.
Okay.
All right. Very good. Very good. I like that. We did not have. Hey, we want to talk more Fiendfoe. Pull up the Fiendfoe again. Yes. We didn't do divine intervention for that. For the vortex.
Is there a god of air elementals?
Yeah, there's a god of evil air elementals.
Oh, close enough. He'll come.
The prince. Yes, the YC bin. Of course, it's evil aerial creatures. Even though it's not neutral aerial creatures.
So maybe I have a lower percentage chance?
Yeah, I'll give it 5%. Prince of evil aerial creatures. That sounds amazing.
So now, unfortunately, it's just going to come and kill the Perryton. And then we'd have to have like we'd have to have 2 random encounters. Whatever. Let's just roll and see what happens.
Let's see if you get 5%. That's
your rule. It's not going to happen anyway, so.
70. So you go. Didn't happen. But that was one of the cool creatures from the elemental princes of evil.
So you're supposed to go to their plane and what you do?
And I think part of it is kind of was an offshoot of the Temple of Elemental Evil. I know that was a different ancient godmother thing, but I thought this would have been way better for the Temple of Elemental Evil.
So wait, so tell me, there's a plane of air or of wind or something like that?
Well, there's the 4 planes, and then they have the power planes. Remember, we used them in our module. Spoiler alert. The power planes of ooze and fire and those creatures.
So I can go to like a plane where it's just all very windy and like a lot of wind
that's
creatures.
The air one, but then there's if air is next to fire, then they have the smoke plane. Basically, it's the land between the 2 planes.
That sounds like an interesting adventure.
Right, you should do that. Now I lost. Oh, here it is. So the princes of evil, air, cold, earth, fire, and water. Which again, cold, interestingly, is not a main plane. It's a power plane, if I remember correctly. Are powerful beings whose principal air is diamond. But anyway,
like heat miser and cold miser.
Right. Okay. Yes. Okay. Cool. So that was our. We have to do spell selection. Sorry about that.
You have a bumper?
I do. I put it in after the fact. It was something. It was.
Someone kept talking over it.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. Roll.
No, you roll.
All right.
Yeah, you roll percentages.
And what's the percent? No,
you 30, 70 or higher, it's a clerical spell. It is not. Magic user. Now 10%, 0 to... It's a magic user.
Okay,
so
I like that.
D10.
I like magic user spells. Whoa, 6th level. I know nothing about this spell.
This will be another one.
So, oh my, 24.
24. So I need D12 and a D6 or something like that, yeah?
Oh, okay, so that's 16?
16, yep.
Move Earth.
Move Earth. Well, we were talking about
our show.
Moving Earth.
Moves Earth.
Moving heaven and earth. Move Earth is the spell. All right.
So this would be good for like if you're a general contractor.
That would be. That's right.
I'm gonna go into. You hire so instead of like hiring a bulldozer, you hire a magic user.
You could. Well, I would.
This is the way you make money because you didn't go fight dragons, right?
Well, I mean, think about it. They do rock to mud or mud to rock. They have wall of stone, wall of things. You could build things very quickly if you're a magic user.
Yeah, so Saul's general contracting work.
I think you get, what do you think, if you get a druid, you can do stone shape? Is that it? Or is that, stone shape?
Lower water could be important.
Stone shape's a 5th level spell. Yeah, there's all kinds of very, they're definitely construction. If Saul's distant cousin,
right?
I don't know his name, but he's Sal's construction.
Yeah, so Saul's, so basically Saul's parents. Like, why can't you be more like Sal?
Sal, yeah. He's in the construction business. He's doing great. He's not passing pearls all day. Yeah. Absolutely. Don't talk to me like that. I have a good business here.
Here, have a pearl.
All right, have a pearl.
Where's that pearl been?
Oh, you don't want to know. Move Earth.
All right.
Page 85.
Level 6, range 10 feet per level. So if you're casting a level 6 spell,
you are
pretty high.
12th level.
Oh, wow. And if you're outside, so it's a range of 120 yards?
Yes.
Wow. So this is seeming pretty interesting, entertaining.
Not really, but go ahead.
Oh, not really? I may be disappointed. Duration is permanent.
Yes.
Verbal, semantic, and material. All right. When cast, the Move Earth spell moves dirt, clay, loam, sand, and its other components. Thus, this is like a better push spell. Who needs push when you got this?
Exactly.
That dude standing on the cliff watching the sunset, and you're like, wait for this. But I can't do stone with this one, right?
Wait, keep going.
Oh,
You can't do stone. This is earth.
Thus, embankments can be collapsed, hillocks moved, dunes shifted, etc. The area to be affected will dictate the casting time for every 4 inches square area.
Yeah.
One turn of casting time is required. Oh, so what you're saying is this takes forever?
Yeah.
I'm sitting there. Well,
Push at least as fast.
Right.
You're not going to push. You're moving earth. The person has a lot of time.
It better be his house on the cliff.
Exactly.
It better have a bed up there.
Exactly.
If terrain features are to be moved, as compared to simply caving in banks or walls of earth, it is necessary that an earth elemental be subsequently summoned to assist. What? If terrain features are to be moved, you mean wait? So
as compared to simply caving in banks or walls of earth. In other words, you're actually shifting a hill and moving it.
Oh, right. I want this hill here.
Right. So the idea of secret salt marsh or citadel by the sea. The citadel is at the sea, right? You want to move the earth, collapse it. That's one thing. But if you wanted to move the whole, cliff, if you could, again, the argument is that earth or is that rock, but let's just go with this. You would need an earth elemental to help you assist with that.
I got you. But so, yeah, if you wanted to collapse the citadel by the sea or whatever, you could do that. That's pretty awesome. And if time isn't of the essence, there's just a bunch of baddies in there.
Right.
You sit there and this thing collapses.
Well, you would have to argue how much of the material under this, because I would assume you're not putting a citadel on top of earth. You could. It would more likely be rock. Mm-hmm. So then it'd be probably better to use rock to mud.
I got you. All right, let me finish this. All spell casting and or summoning must be completed before any effects occur. In no event can rock prominences be collapsed or moved. The material components for this spell are a mixture of soils in a small bag and an iron blade. Why an iron blade?
Maybe like a shovel? Kind of simulates a shovel.
Okay.
So if you had a rocky, some kind of, you wanted to make farmland like the Chamberlain and you want to help out maybe Ankeg had gone through and caused a bunch of distress the land. You could come in as the kind wizard and cast Move Earth and kind of clean out the area. I'm sure there's a lot of money in setting up, helping farming communities.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, I don't know how exciting that is. That's the first spell that I think we've done that I'm like, yeah. Not all that jazz.
Well, I'm sure David, who's on the case, because he's now literally it's 1 a.m. There are monsters, I think earth elements, some of them that are affected greatly by it's one of those that you don't really use it for its primary thing, kind of like lower water affects water elementals. I think
I see.
Move Earth.
You learn later.
I think Move Earth affects earth elementals or something like that. Okay. I feel like there's one there, but. Again, I go back to, am I going to, no, I don't, it's not on here. Am I going to memorize this as opposed to some of these other 6-level spells? No, this would be a scroll one or a utility one. This would be the trade, when you're trading spells and you need to give up something else to sweeten the deal. You'd be like, okay, I'll give you Move Earth. Any of those, they're just, compared to some of the others, Global Vulnerability, amazing spell. Anti-magic shell, disintegrate. Am I gonna memorize disintegrate or Move Earth? I could just disintegrate that area for a 10 cubic volume. So at 12th level, let's see. Any living material, even up to 1 cubic volume, can be by the spell. All right. So a 10 by 10 by 10 foot cube could be wiped out. You could do that a number of times. That's right. That's exactly right, David. So he put utility spell that needs to be on a scroll, not something useful as a side.
Yeah, that you know that the players are going to need in this particular adventure.
Right.
Right. And so maybe give them the scroll.
Yeah.
Let's see. My guess is that it's not talked about.
Oh, in the
right,
in the sadness,
in the spells,
the spell sadness.
because this is already bad. They don't need to make this scary. Do you think this is being abused?
Yeah. I don't know. You never know. Sometimes you think of things and it doesn't. You assume it's not being abused.
Because these are the spells that were being abused, right?
Well, there were ones that he really felt. I think you have to go. There you go.
Oh, here we go. So 6th level magic user.
Yeah. And we're flipping.
Magic use 6th, 3rd, 5th, 6.
Move Earth.
It is. So in the DMG on page 46. The practical limitation on the area of effect of this spell is a 24-inch square area with 4 hours of casting time, exclusive of elemental conjuration. Is that telling us anything we didn't already know?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
It said 1 turn. Well, no, I guess it's interesting because it was 24 square area, so it's 6 by 4. I guess the most you can cast is 4 hours. You couldn't make it infinite. I guess someone probably said, "Oh, I'm just going to keep doing this. I'm going to do the whole."
The practical limitation.
Yeah, I would expect the PC man to use a spell in order to help. Yeah, exactly.
So you think that Gary said, "Okay,
yeah, you can't just keep doing
abuse.
I want to move the whole, cliff, or I want to move this mound, a giant hill that's full of earth." And I want to move it. No, you can't do everything. It's this. You can only cast it for 4 hours.
I would love to see. I wish it included a little discussion of when it was abused and who abused it.
Right. Who the case law was about.
Exactly. What's the precedent for this? Right. This so and so.
Right.
Brian Bloom or Dave Arneson.
Bloom versus Gygax. 77.
Right. Debate. Bloom tried to do this. Gygax said no. Here's our ruling.
That's right.
And I'm Gygax, so I win. Everything's versus Gygax.
That's right.
Ruling in favor of Gygax. He's undefeated. Never lost a case.
Never lost a case. That's amazing.
He's the best lawyer ever.
That's right. That would be good. Or who I corrected, Brian.
Right. Right. Loser.
Loser. Dumb idea, Brian.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. That would be amazing. All right, so that's cool. We are now ready for our Word of Recall segment, where finally an hour in, we're going to talk about monks.
Monks.
Love monks. Aren't they great?
And so I've already mentioned that, I did a little research.
Hey.
When I say a little,
I
mean a little. That story is that Brian Bloom was big into Kung Fu movies. But, and that's why it's there. Look, I think the monk is... It sounds a little bit like the gnome, right? I don't know if love or hate. There's a lot of hate for the gnome.
Yes. Well, there's definitely hate for the gnome.
No.
Without a doubt.
Of course. Hate for the monk. But, Gary put it in there.
Right.
I mean, Gary's not, correct me if I'm wrong, but Gary's not going to make that a class in the player's handbook. And I know originally it was in OD&D in the Greyhawk supplement, and which is Arneson's, a Blackmore supplement, I believe, which was Arneson's, but Bloom was the inspiration for the monk. But, Gary blessed it. Gary must have thought it was okay, right?
Or people were playing it and it was not a hill he wanted to die on or something like that. To me, again, it's interesting. This is you have the core classes, right? And this is the last of the classes that as a DM, they're part of the canon. The next one, which was the last one, is when the optional rules, which is the bard.
And that episode, my understanding, will be optional for viewing.
That's right.
And listening, is that right?
Well, most are optional, but that one particularly is optional.
So you don't have to.
You don't have to watch that one. But
this one you do.
Yes, this one is required. Yeah. And so it's almost the, if you think of this in a planetary thing, this is the Uranus of... or maybe even the Pluto. Should it be a planet? Should it not be a planet? Right now, at the time, it was a planet.
Right.
But it seems like an odd.
It's the Pluto of.
It's the Pluto of.
Is it a planet or is it just a
planetoid
rock?
Or whatever?
Oh, you know what we need to do more of? Because I notice above here, can I go back to assassins?
No, we can't.
Do you know what a second level assassin's called?
A murderer.
A rudderkin.
A rudderkin.
Isn't that interesting? What is that?
I have no idea what is a rudderkin. Please let us know.
And the third level 3 is a waghalter.
Oh yeah, that was a great title.
My point is, we need to pay more attention to the titles when we do.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we've already done. We're on
the
the monk.
one. Right.
But there's some interesting titles here.
So the reason I say that is the other ones feel very quote unquote traditional, the high, or medieval fantasy, that kind of fantasy world generic.
I'm a wizard. I'm a knight.
I'm a fighter. Even a cleric was, I'm a holy man or holy woman. I thief. Yeah, you can.
Bilbo, because you think of Bilbo,
right? And the monk, as it's portrayed here, has this pseudo-Oriental feel.
Yes.
Which is not part of that aesthetic. But you could see how being a martial arts weaponless fighter is amazing. So then they try to make it more of like a Western aesthetic monk, something like that, and make it generic.
So it's a hybrid, right? It's weird, right? So
it's an odd duck,
because a monk is, you're solitary, you're contemplative, you're religious, you're studying, you're cloistered usually, and then but we're gonna add to this kung fu, this martial arts.
I like in the rules cyclopedia where they call it, and it's not a monk exactly, mystic. I think if they called it a mystic and made it more mystical and not the kung fu kind of martial arts monk, it would have been a little more palatable at the time.
It was palatable for me, I think, simply because I was too young to question anything. I think when I was older, 15, 16, whatever, and Unearthed Arcana came out, I was more questioning. But right? Oh, the book that shall not be named. But I didn't question anything in here. So if the monk was,
I have to get a swear jar for you.
I should have to.
I'm going to get you.
All right, no, you're right. You're
gonna have to pick a swear jar if you use that word.
I give you money, but I don't have any.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Because you're stealing all the patron money.
That's exactly.
So I wouldn't question anything.
There's your. Hold on, real quick.
Yeah.
Rudderkin, thank you, Minion. Obsolete, derogatory, an old crafty fox or beguiler.
Oh, I love it.
A wag halter, also obsolete, a person likely to be hanged.
Wow.
That's amazing.
So you really got to survive the wag halter level. It's very tense.
Yeah, I love it.
You'll be hung at any moment.
Yeah, wag halter. That's great.
So I was okay with the monk. I mean, the monk was cool simply because, wow, if you needed high scores,
right,
then it was something you wanted to be.
Yes, that was the first thing you thought of. Are you going to burn your... You roll amazingly, right?
Yeah, so and you're like, oh my God, you can be a monk.
And then you sit there and go, oh,
I don't want to be a monk.
Do I want to be a monk?
But you got those rolls.
Right. It's such an odd duck because you want to talk about text. It is the longest description in the player's handbook.
All right, so we better get moving.
By far. We cannot go, because this will be a 4-hour show. We cannot do that. So it is, and then the first thing it says, the monk is the most unusual of all characters, the hardest to qualify for, and perhaps the most deadly.
Oh, I gotta be this.
Right. So
it's out of alphabetical order.
That's right. It's at the end. It's not, and there's been some controversy. Some people played it as a sub of Thief, like famously the tables for the fighting tables. Even though it said they fight as clerics, they're under Thief and Assassin.
I think under monk in the player's handbook.
Right.
I believe it says that they combat is on the same table as thieves, and it says monks make the saving throws on the table used by thieves. So it says both saving throws and attack,
but if you go
saving
here,
throws, I believe, are clear, right? I think attack is.
Yep.
So we need to get this controversy because this question always comes up, right?
Well, I'm sorry. Yes, but what's interesting in the DMG, it has monks under clerics and druids
to attack, but it has under saving throws. Or saving throws. Saving throws.
Yeah.
If you'll notice, ask D for
thieves
includes monks.
Yeah. So it's reverse of.
So it's a split. So the DMG trumps. So it changes the saving throw. Wait, it changes the
combat table.
The combat table.
Right. But sometimes people forget that they don't see this over here, and they go and they make them fight as thieves, which is terrible.
I liked in OD&D, the monk was a subclass of cleric. I like that.
Right.
That made sense to me as number one, I like them being a subclass, and because they're so religious. Where would you prefer to see them?
I would think they should be a cleric. I mean, it's to me they don't have to necessarily be religious as in the traditional following a deity, but again, there is in the sinew of the game that gods are real, and that there is no atheist. You can try to deny it, but it's just like I deny that there's stars outside. I can deny it, but they're a physical fact. And you can decide not to follow any deities, and I guess you could potentially maybe a lawful neutral, a lawful evil. They have no deities, but it feels like it should be in there. I agree.
What is a monastic? They're a monastic aesthetic.
Right.
So I just assumed monks were religious in this game because it's called monk. Am I wrong in that, or
I think
they're
they
like very
could.
Zen kind of?
Well, but that's where you get this conflation between the Eastern, where it's more meditative, not the monks that we think of in the Western world, which they're scribing sacred texts and their vows of silence and this type of thing. So that's why
hitting their heads with boards.
Yeah, the self-flagellation. Yeah, exactly. Self-flagellation or flatulation is farting. Flagellation. That's why I get them confused. Maybe it is self-flagellation. I will now, for your sake, I will not do self-flagellation.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
But that's why it's make one or the other. And that's why it was hard to deal with. But the idea of being a guy kung fu fighting or martial arts fighting, that was cool. And
that was cool.
And but it's just all over the place.
Did you ever play a monk? I
did, for a short time, because what you realize is you've burned all these great, first of all, let's
talk, right? So we talk about what they do.
So first of all, your minimum abilities: 15 strength, 15 wisdom, 15 dex, and 11 constitution.
Okay.
They never get armor class experience bonuses, and dex gives them no armor class adjustment.
Which is rough because your AC is going to be based upon your level, and you start at 10.
You're at AC 10.
With a die 4. I know you get 2, like the ranger, but a die 4 for your hit die.
Right. So you have die 4 hit dice. You better have a con bonus. You can't be minimum of 11, because that means if you don't have a con bonus, so 3 of your best rolls are going to go for strength, wisdom, and dexterity.
Yeah, so right there, I mean, the odds that you're going to have a con,
right?
Because what do you need, a 15 to get a +1?
That's right. Right.
My goodness, you had to kill a roll, become a paladin.
So, right, you're going to do that, and you have then probably on average 5 hit points, and you're a fighter. You're supposed to fight.
Yeah, and you're like,
and you're
what?
at AC 10.
I wonder if there's a lot of people who rolled up the monk, they were all excited, and then they actually see it and they start playing it, and they're like, I've been sold a bill of goods.
This makes the magic user standing in the back seem like they're ultra powerful at first level.
Right.
Because they literally, except for fighting, and that's if you fix it, if you follow, like we said, the cleric's table, they're just horrible. I mean, they don't have, if you want to play them fighting, you're not going to survive with 5 hit points.
Yes, but you're deceived. Because you're just doing a brief study of character class table 1 and 2.
Yes, that's right. So we're on paragraph 4.
Yeah, youth appears to be quite weak. I mean, even considering that the top most level monk can have 18, albeit 4-side hit. So you're deceived.
I'm deceived.
Do you really have a good selection of weapons to choose from? I don't know. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter that much. I mean, you get like a joe stick and or a bow stick. You don't have that many, right? I mean, you've got... It
is very strong. It almost feels like Gary's trying to convince us that it doesn't suck as bad as we think it is.
Right.
That having basically... Well, again, to his point, 2d4 is better than a d8. So yes, you have the... you should have slightly more hit points than a cleric, but the problem is you burned 3 of your stats for non-constitution. That's where more likely a cleric's going to have a higher constitution if they have it. So
I can't even. I'm the only person that can't use oil.
Right.
I don't know if I really care that much about.
Right. So yeah, monk. It has a slightly better weapon selection if you consider a joe stick. A polearm is probably the only thing, again, you're going to, a spear, you can use a bunch of those longer type weapons. You can use a crossbow. So you're standing in the back shooting with a crossbow.
Okay.
For a while.
Do I have spell ability?
No.
Can I wear armor?
No.
Can I use a shield at
least?
No,
of course not.
How about some flaming
oil? You're a
oil?
monk. Have you seen the Kung Fu monk? They can't do any of that. No, apparently no flaming oil.
Well, this seems to me to be a weak character class indeed.
Yes.
Is
my
impression correct?
I think it is.
No, it's false.
Now, the other problem with the monk is it has some skills that improve over time that are very painful to adjudicate, and your player has to remember all these.
Oh god, the surprise is the worst.
Surprise
I don't want a monk because I don't want to deal with the surprise.
Right, surprise is crazy. That's the second one. The first one is with respect to combat. This is kind of cool. Now we've already said that in the DMG they put them under clerics, which is better. Clerics have a better fighter table or fighting table. And however, they add 1/2 of a hit point per level of experience to the amount of damage they score. So this simulates their study knowledge of weapons. So first level monk does +1/2, where X is equal damage done by the weapon, and HP equals the number of hit points of damage. The second level does +1. So the first question is, do you round up or you round down?
I was going to ask you that. I thought, it sounds to me like you can actually do 1/2 a point of damage.
Yeah, so you have to keep track of that.
So there is such a thing as a 1/2 a point of hit point.
Well, when it comes to monks, you'd have to keep track of that. You basically have the situation of if the guy had 1 hit point, they would be killed, but they'd be killed anyway. So what's the difference? I did 1 hit point. I did 1.5 hit points of damage. You had 1 hit point.
No, I'm at 1/2. All right.
Let's say you had 1 hit point, and I did 1.5 hit points. You'd be at -1.5.
Oh.
You'd still be dead. But if you had 5,
but if I'm at 1 and you do, okay, so I'm at 2,
then you have 1/2 a hit point.
Right, and you do 1.
As long as you're at 0,
I have 1/2 a hit point.
You're still alive.
Right, not dead yet. Okay.
So that's kind of annoying. So apparently you don't round up
because it never says that.
Right.
Because it actually says you do 1/2 a hit point. A first level monk scores X plus 1/2 hit point of damage.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you're making my life annoying as a DM. Right. But then I get to do open hand combat, which I think is only really going to become better in the later rounds, right?
Right. So first level. Now here's the other thing. First level, you look at the monks table. They're novice, again using the class. AC 10. They move fast. That is one thing that is.
So I can run. I can flee quickly.
Yeah, you can get in and out of battle quickly, and that gets better quickly over time. You know, having a 15 movement to start is very cool.
So you can have a race between a vortex and a monk.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you could at least run away. You get 1 attack, and then eventually you get multiple attacks. You get 1 attack. You do 1 to 3. I think a normal fist open hand does 1 to 2. So it's not like you're doing much more.
A slap.
Yeah, it's like
slap does 1 to 2.
Your slap does 1 to 2. It's painful.
And these scores, I could have been a paladin.
Right, and you get. I'm pretty sure they're saying in the comments, and correct me if I'm wrong, folks out there, that they don't get their strength bonus. I'm pretty sure they.
I think they do not get a strength bonus.
Right.
Let me see. We need to make sure, but okay.
I feel like they don't. So. Basically, right? Let me know. Do they get strength bonus? Folks out there, let me know. Because I'm trying to read. Seeing no strength bonus. Yeah, thank you, David. Yeah, so no hit bonus to hit or damage from strength. So I'm a fighter, first level. I have 1851 strength. I'm +2 to hit, +4 damage. You're a monk. I punch you, you punch me. Guess who's going down?
Yeah.
That should not be.
Right.
The monk should be able, you look at the classic bruiser fight versus the quick, whether it's Bruce Lee or some Jackie Chan. That should be a fair fight. That's not a fair fight.
No, this is good though, because I want to discourage people from playing the monk.
No, I don't want to discourage them. I just, there are remedies that people, we're going to talk about that people have done with that. So, okay. So
now we're on to open hand. So the open hand combat. Oh, so there's this chance to stun or even kill. Now that's kind of cool, right? If I get a 5 or higher than what was required on my to hit roll with the open hand.
And this is the first time we saw this. And I've used this 5 or higher in a lot of things. This is kind of that mechanic I used for if they fumbled or they critical. It was always that if you did 5 or higher, you had an exceptional hit, even though it wasn't codified anywhere else. I know a lot of people house ruled this for other things like. You need a 15. If you need a 12 to hit, and you hit with a 17. No, that was an exceptional hit, and people started adding additional damage or whatever. I'm not saying you should, but there was a reason for it. So yeah, so go ahead, read that about open hand. So this is stunning or killing is a cool. Again, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, because I'm envisioning, like you chop the neck and the guy just dies. So if it's 5 or more to hit, got to be using open hand, of course.
Right.
Then there is a percentage chance that you will stun or kill. Right. The percentage chance is based on the opponent's AC, right? So if it's a 10, you'd have a 10% chance. You got to hit first,
right?
But then you have a 10% chance And at what is it? At 7th level, every level above 7, you get a 1% extra chance. So if it's an AC -1 in your 9th level, you'd actually have a 1%. I don't know why I say actually. That's amazing.
That's right.
You'd have a 1% chance of killing, right? So that
it would have to be over 7th level.
If it was if it was 0 or -1, because so you got a first, so you roll to hit. I mean, the problem is when you're low level, you're probably it's going to be hard to get 5 above what you need to hit.
Right.
Even though you're on the cleric table.
Right.
I mean, you need. So what's the AC? You need a 15 or lower.
AC 5 or better.
Okay. So it's not often, and then you need a 20, and then if they're AC 5, it's a 5% chance to. So you stunned them. That's cool. And then you've got a 5% chance to.
Well, and David put here, yeah, I think David, but that assumes the AC of the fighter is AC 10, doesn't it? You have to roll 5 above. So in this, what it's saying here, if 15 is required, score 20 more would indicate a stun. And again, are we reading that the chance kills percentage equals the armor class opponent modified by the number of experience points above levels above 7? So you're not going to. So is it saying you have to be above 7, or it's modified if you're above 7?
I think it's modified if you're above 7.
So you could kill regardless, is what you're saying. If you stun.
If you stunned, it's always based upon the AC. So the only time that would be a 0 is if you're below 7th level and it's an AC 0 or below. Even if it's an AC 1, the way I read it, if you're an AC 1, your opponent,
right,
and you're a 1st level monk, and well, you're not going to get the plus. You need +5, so you're not going to do that.
Right.
But if you're 5 or above, you're to hit. Then you've stunned, and then you roll to see if you actually kill. Yeah.
So the argument on the chat, not even argument. Yeah, if it's a one-on-one combat where everyone's kind of stripped down in boxing, then the monk has a little better chance.
Why does the monk go first?
Who said the monk goes?
Oh, I'm sorry. The Chamberlain.
Oh.
Said maybe you're just saying if they do. It says the monk goes
right,
first.
If the monk goes first.
First of monk in hand-to-hand combat, the monk goes first.
Maybe because of the initiative bonus. I don't know.
Or is it if it's
There's also a higher level of surprise. So I think these are again, you're really going to have to kind of figure some of this out. So I'm good with that. I think that would be cool. Note that the monk must hit and stun the opponent, which means 5. Then percentage must be rolled. So the only bad part, there's a lot of rolling.
But you know what? Yeah, but you know what it is? This is what it comes down to with all these classes, don't you think? Are you going to get into character? Do you want to be a monk?
Yeah.
Is it cool to you?
Right.
If you play it in a cool way as a monk, if you're not just
then who cares?
playing a power gaming, because now we're talking about power gaming, which is fine too. I mean, no one wants to be, even if you're not a power gamer, you don't want to be the guy with 1 hit point who's dead. I mean, that's no fun. That's But if you want to play, if you're into this type of character, the martial arts, then I think you play because it's fun to play.
So some of the argument here, and I would agree with it, is that what the Chamberlain, most august from Australia, is arguing, and I would tend to agree with this, is that their hands are weapons. And so if you were in the scenario we're talking about, is this 5th level fighter, you're in a bar, they don't have weapons, and they start fighting. The 5th level bruiser tries to fight. And because the monk's hand-to-hand, I have to register my hands as a lethal weapon kind of thing, it's a weapon, whereas pummeling, if you're not proficient in fighting hand-to-hand, it's not a proficiency, you're just basically doing
you give a non-proficiency on hand-to-hand combat if you don't.
Well, you're supposed to use weaponless combat, and weaponless combat always goes last in the round. That's where he's making that.
Weaponless always goes last.
Right. So he's saying, I'm a fighter, I have fists.
Yeah.
You're a monk. Because I'm using weaponless combat, you're combating normally because it's part of your attack. You would go first.
Oh, I didn't know that, because I know that fist or open hand is listed on the weapons table. It has a speed factor of 1.
Right. But it's still slower weaponless. If you're pummeling, which is the attack you'd be using in weaponless combat. Now you could argue, could a fighter get a proficiency in fists that he could just fight with his fists? Why not?
Is that anywhere, by the way? So I get that. Does they talk about that? The monks' fists are considered weapons for purposes of weaponless combat. They're not considered weaponless.
That's
that makes sense to me. I was wondering if it. I would adopt that, right? I don't know if it actually says that.
I don't know if it says it explicitly, but they get, the other reason that would support that is they get multiple attacks. So it's acting like an attack matrix.
Yeah, you probably don't want to fight the monk. If you're in a bar, you don't have your armor on.
Right. If you know it's a monk, you should stay away. They're going to kick your butt.
Yeah, because I'm probably not. When I'm in the bar, I mean, I think we always assume that do people really walk around in chainmail in a bar? Maybe they do if it's a really dangerous place. But
yeah.
Are you always walking around? I mean, you have plate mail. You know, always like, you answer the door. Are you in plate mail?
Right.
Why? Why are you wearing plate mail?
Well, because you don't want to have to deal with spending rounds to put it on. So that's players, they would sleep in their armor if you.
Yeah, because they don't actually have to do it. I'm going to make them. They need to buy plate mail. They need to come and play the game in plate mail.
That's right. That's right. Just 50 pounds of armor.
Right.
They'll be like, I'm tired.
Drive in plate mail. Walk around.
So then you've got. So again, that's the challenge. Something is cool and something like meh. And eventually they would definitely go first, because when they get to 4th level, they start getting multiple attacks per round, which is kind of cool too.
Right.
So if they get 2 attacks, they would go first.
But now I can
clearly go first.
I can do matrix type stuff, can't I? Dodging.
Yep, that's right. So
right.
They make saving throws as thieves, but non-magical missiles, which normally you hit, you can make a saving throw for each potential hit. In other words, if there was kobolds or goblins shooting bows, they could do the Matrix style save versus petrification.
And the way I read that is that the kobolds would have to make it to hit roll, correct?
Yeah, they have to hit. Right.
And so I get an additional chance to dodge what otherwise would be a hit. Right. Okay. Well, that's kind of cool. So that's kind of nice.
Exactly.
And that's immediate.
That is immediate. In other respects, if a monk makes a saving throw against an attack form, it will sustain no damage. So against a fireball, if attack from a fireball, if it's a 9th level or higher, a monk who fails a saving throw would only sustain 1/2. So basically, they're so agile and dexterous, and they're disciplined in jumping out of the way. That is a very and I've seen, we had a monk in our Don, our good friend, who played a monk in my campaign. And did a great. That was one of his key things. In fact, he would get in front of other people who were fighting, and block missiles in front of people. Oh,
very nice. And am I right in understanding that in other respects, if the monk makes either saving throw against attack form, so now is this normal weapons automatically? If I make a saving throw,
yes, that's right.
And I'm using petrification, I guess again, I get no damage.
If it's a fireball,
even it says even if the attack form was a fireball, for instance, even.
In other respects, if you make your saving throw, you dodge the thing or you knock it aside, so you get no.
Oh wait, damage. I thought we're not on missiles anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, if it's
non-magical missiles, which would normally hit, can be dodged or knocked aside.
Right.
In other respects, now what does in other respects mean? If a monk makes his or her saving throw against an attack form, the monk will sustain no damage from the attack, even if the attack form was a fireball. This makes it sound like everything else, I get no damage.
Yeah.
Am I overreading that? I'm reading that like, so someone comes at me with a sword, hits me. Do I get a save versus petrification to sustain no damage? And it's pointing out, look, this would, even if it's, the guy gets to sort of saying how good this is. Look, it's even if it was a fireball, for instance.
Well, then it says at 9th level or higher, a monk would fail, it still will get 1/2.
But that's even better. But that means that, so is it, but before 9th level, if I make my saving throw, I get no damage. If I don't make my saving throw, it's full damage. Well, at 9th level, it's either 0 or 1/2.
Because they suck so bad, I would give it to them.
I wonder how people read that.
Yeah, so what Dan is saying, correct me if I'm wrong, if any kind of projectile attack... I'm starting attack. First. Any launched attack at the monk that's not a hand-to-hand attack.
Right.
Whether it's a spell, whether it's a missile.
Non-magical.
Non-magical. Well, first non-magical, if it's arrows and stuff, they make their save, no matter what it is, they knock it aside, they take no damage. If they fail their save, they take damage if it's non-magical missiles. Do you read that the same way? Or if you're, I guess what I'm confused is, in other respects, if a monk makes a saving throw against attack form, the monk will sustain no damage from the attack, even if the attack was from a fireball. So are you saying just, in other words, are they still taking half damage from non-magical spears, or if they fail their save, or are they taking full damage?
So I read that as, for all other attack forms, so non-magical missiles, is that sentence is limited to that issue.
Okay.
And then in other respects, makes it say that against an attack form.
Well, because there's all kinds of attack forms.
Well, that's my thing.
There's Manicore missiles, there's fireballs,
so this is
bolts.
only missiles. But okay, so in other words, this is got to be, so this second sentence is only about missiles. We're still just talking about missiles, I'm assuming. Is that right?
Yeah, it would normally hit the dodge side.
So in other response, it makes his or save against an attack form. So does that mean if it is?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't either. I'm confused.
Well, we'll have to keep. We'll go. I mean, you can read it a bunch of ways. We have played it, or at least when I played, Don has played it. Not missile weapons. Save, they take no damage. They fail their save, they take damage. If it's a fireball, they make their save, they take no damage. If they fail their save, they take half damage. That's what we've done. Now, whether that's right or not, I don't know, but that's what we've done.
Yeah. Okay. I'm confused by that. I agree with David. Only missiles. It would be great against all attacks, but not so.
Yeah.
So only missiles. So if it's non-magical missiles, I dodge it if I make a saving throw against petrification for each as potential hit. In other respects, if I make my saving throw, the monk will say no damage. That's the same thing, though, isn't it? What's changed? I sustain no damage. The first one is I knock it away and I sustain no damage. And in other respects, if I make my saving throw,
well, it's a fireball. If it's a fireball, either you
so it's the
you take no damage because people against a fireball, all other creatures take half damage.
Yeah.
When you fail your save, you take half. They would take none.
But why don't the first sentence just say
are you gonna start
all
with
missiles, which would normally hit can be dodged or knocked aside?
Right.
In other words, I mean, I don't understand what that's add. I mean, it's saying if it's non-magical, I suffer no damage if I make my save. And if it's magical, I suffer no damage if I make my save.
Yeah, but I think the difference there is. Well, no, I see what you're saying. I don't know.
I don't know what the second sentence is adding to the first one. I know it's adding magical because the fireball is magical, but why wouldn't you just say why do we need to do two sentences to say if you make your save against a magical or non-magical missile, you take no damage?
Yeah, it appears to be about missiles, not yeah. Again, thank you. Yeah, everyone's like, look at the clock. I've ruled it clearly non-magical missiles. If they save, if it's magical, if they make their save, they take no damage.
So maybe it's an issue of knocking away versus maybe it's really just about whether you can knock it away. You can knock away a non-magical missile,
right?
But maybe magical stuff you can't knock away, and Gaiax is saying, but even if you just simply don't suffer any damage if you make it.
All right, so if you thought that was fun.
And the ninth level, I think the ninth level is a difference, because the ninth level now is, before ninth level, and it's magical, it's either 0 or all.
Right.
Whereas at ninth level, it's
half or none. Right.
Right. Okay.
Yep. All right, so then the next part.
What's complicated about this combat rules of D&D first edition?
You're an idiot.
I'm an idiot to think they're not complicated.
You're an idiot if you think this is complicated. Not complicated. We're just idiots.
Not complicated.
Okay, so then we move on to surprise, which this is so painful.
It's not complicated.
Well, it makes sense, but it's so painful.
Oh, it is complicated.
At first level, there's likely to be a surprise to anyone else, but then it goes down to 32%. It goes down 1 1/3.
And now the problem is now you got to adjust the segments, don't you?
Right.
Like how many segments?
And then 2% per level. Nothing else works this way.
And this means that I might not be surprised. So just the monk, it's kind of like a ranger now, or like a dex bonus. I might not be surprised as many segments.
What?
Because it's usually party surprise.
It is.
And does this apply like a ranger? I don't think this applies like a ranger. This doesn't apply. This doesn't go to the whole party, does it?
This applies to you.
Right.
So
like a dex bonus.
The easiest way to run it is it reduces. It's almost a dex bonus that as you keep going, it reduces the segments. But you can't read it that way. You have to read it that it affects their. Instead of being a 1 in 2 chance, they're now a 30% chance or 25% chance.
And how do you figure out the segments though? So if I'm
that's
at 30%,
what makes it so impossible. I mean
when do you round? Do you round down? Because like 1 out of 6, of course, is what 16.67% or whatever, right? So 2 out of 6 is 33 1/3.
Right.
do you like, you're going to round to figure? So if it's a 30% chance, and let's say I'm surprised.
Yeah. And you're fighting a spectator who gets only surprised on a 1 in 8 or...
Oh, no,
and then there's someone who gets surprises on 6
well, that
and
gets
12.
worse.
It just,
let's just say you don't have the simple, and maybe this is more for a surprise discussion, because it's going to take up too much time. But I guess if it's just a straight 1 and 2, 1 and 2, everyone's saying, except the monk, and the monk rolls for 30%, I guess you'd say, well, look, that's close to 33 and a third. So you're surprised 2 segments. At a certain point, it's going to flip over. You're just 1.
Right.
I guess.
Yeah, but so some of the arguments are, let's say everyone was surprised at the same thing. They're one to 2 out of 6. Now at second level they're less. So then you would start using them, because they just like a ranger gets surprised less. You use them in the party. You would use them as the best roll. And now you have to adjudicate.
Well, you could, but we don't know. It doesn't say that.
Well, but you assume. Why wouldn't you take advantage of that? If I was a player, I'm going to argue that I have a third level monk. Why are we using 1 and 2? It's less than 1 and 2. 2 and 6.
It is interesting.
It's terrible. It's a terrible thing.
Well, but you could make it. Yeah.
It's terrible, and the problem is it should be a good advantage. Monks should be, that idea of, they have a sixth sense, and that should be cool. This is not cool.
They should have just made it like a ranger, only 1 and 6 or something.
Right. Or every 4 levels you reduce it so that, even if you want to still go with the crazy 1 and 8 and 1 and 12 like some creatures do, great. Exactly. This is just, and everyone's commenting the same thing. It's so painful.
So right, roll the percentage only if the monk is the best surprise value. Which, okay, if you have a ranger, I guess that's the nice thing, is always eventually the ranger.
Yeah.
So then you just use the rangers 1 and 6, right? But if they are,
But then you have a number of levels where the monk's not. It's another feature that could be cool, but it wasn't implemented away.
I believe wasn't there an article in Dragon that talks about?
Oh yeah, you convert. Yeah, you have to convert everything to percentages and then determine. And I tried that for a while, but because of the times we've spent together, that dice roll again. It's not just a 1 and 2. If you're surprised on a 1 and 4, you roll 4. You could potentially have 4 segments. So first, the beauty and the curse of the surprise way in first edition is you're not only determining who's surprised, but how many segments are surprised in one roll.
Right.
When you convert it to percentages, now you're figuring out surprise, and then you have to refigure out how many segments is surprise. It just
it slows it down.
Oh.
And so if you had every time you had a monk, every combat you have 7 combats, scenarios or encounters.
And I just want to do kung fu fighting. That's all I want to do.
Because you're doing all that stuff, and people are putting out in today's generation. People are pulling out their phones.
Right.
They're on their phones. They're going to the bathroom.
So it's just,
they come back from the bathroom. You're still calculating.
Right. It's just I would even say at 5th level rangers, monks can't be surprised or something like that. Just keep it simple.
And the downside of this is that the way I think combat should be okay. You burst into a room. There's goblins. What do you do? Roll. Right. You know what I mean? And it's just supposed to be fast and furious. I mean, I know you're supposed to parlay. We talked about that, right? But it's not so. But it should have a little bit of real timiness to it, in my opinion.
Right. Well, and that's what Gary Gygax says in page 60, whatever. And declaring action. If you don't declare action quickly, you lose your turn. You basically sit around. So to me that's just a shame. It's a lost opportunity. Then they can do thieving ability. Why? Why can they find and remove traps?
They can't do backstab, though, right?
They can't. They cannot.
Or comprehend languages.
They cannot comprehend languages.
I think of a monk. Number one, they should go to backstab because they know the body so well. They know where to whack you with the joystick or whatever to do the damage. They should be able to.
They get extra damages to hit because of their knowledge. The idea, almost like the acupuncture. They know the pain points of the body, but yet they don't get a backstab.
And they're monastic. But they're not scholarly enough to know comprehend language.
Right. And so open locks, why? Why are they studying that? Climb walls, I get. Move silently, hide in shadows.
Are you a cleric or are you a thief?
Find, remove traps? Yes. I don't.
I don't know what I am.
I don't.
What am I? The monk is confused.
So that's what they do. They're basically a poor man's thief at that point.
Here's the problem or you bring up a great point. They're a poor man's thief, or they're the neutral party's thief. I mean, they're the good party's thief.
Right.
So if you want to do a good party,
that's a very good point.
Right? Because
you could have a lawful good monk.
Because I did for Aurelian, it's supposed to be good. It really should be good character. It's supposed to be epic fight against evil. And so the problem is with a thief. The thieves. You can do the neutral good thief, but that's kind of gets boring after a while. So I did a monk.
Yeah.
So if you want to be you want a good party,
right?
And you want a thief, have a monk.
Yeah, and because they're the skills that a monk has is very appropriate for what most parties want a thief for, which is finding traps and sneaking around. And
it's not like the assassin where it is 2 levels below, right? It's you start off right at the same level.
Yeah, it's the same
level, which is really nice. But here's the thing. This is what I think is cool.
So some of the comments are because David Carradine, Kane from did it in, he escaped out of jail in the West or whatever. And okay.
Yeah, you can't contain a monk.
No, you can't.
Where's the monk?
David Carradine, you're not
Monk's
keeping
gone.
down. He's gone. He's out of here.
Gone. Right. He slid through this little.
Of course, if he's trying to open locks as a first level thief, what does he have? A 25% chance?
He's like, hey, I'm a monk. What?
1 in 4 chance.
Don't you know who I am? I'm not a thief. I'm a monk.
Exactly.
Oh, we didn't talk about what race. So I want to be a gnome monk.
No.
What?
First of all, you can't be a gnome in my campaign.
Anyway.
That's right.
That's always a no.
That's a no. If you look at...
You would have it where the list is, you would redo the player's handbook, and it would be like, everyone, no, it would just be, no.
I'm going to replace this on page 14. No.
No.
Just no.
Hell no.
No, there'll all be parentheses. I'd have NPC ones.
You have one. The illusionist assassin.
That's illusionist assassin.
That's the only thing you can make.
That's right. And it would be non-player. It would be an NPC.
All right, so I'm going to be a dwarven monk.
No.
Okay, I want to be an elven monk.
No.
No monk. Half elf. No. Halfling. No.
No.
Half orc. No.
Human, yes.
So yeah, all right. So you got to be a human.
You got to be human.
But here's the thing about it: isn't it seem kind of cool to have like this monastery of just lawful evil monks?
Yes, and we were going to talk. They already talked about it. I was going to talk about it, the Scarlet Brotherhood. That is
what's that? I don't know what that is.
That's from Greyhawk.
At some point, do you think I should break down and get Greyhawk just so I know what you
guys
are talking about?
You can borrow
No, that's too valuable.
Scarlet Brotherhood, for those, if you look at the Greyhawk map, it's all the way in the bottom. And I was tweeting about one of my favorite modules, A3, Area of the Slave Lords. One of the Slave Lords is a representative from the Scarlet Brotherhood. What's his name? I know David already talked about the Scarlet Brotherhood. It's not Maramoto. He's the cleric. Brother Ajito or whatever, something like that. He is the representative from the Scarlet Brotherhood. It's in A3.
Then I assume it's a lawful.
He's lawful
brotherhood.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
That's it. Yeah, and people thought that was really cool. And over time, they've really made huge stories about how their tendrils are all over the place and doing things. So
okay,
yeah, absolutely. Okay, moving on. How are we doing?
Okay, so. They can like fall.
Yes.
And they like sort of like bounce. What do they bounce off the wall or something?
Yeah, as long as they're near a wall, as they continue in levels, they can fall without damage. Because again, falling, if done properly, especially if we do it the way it's supposed to be, if 20 feet you roll 3d6, 1d6, 2d6, a 20-foot fall could kill a lot of people.
You'll be happy to know that in my Aurelian adventure that I ran, a gnome, run by Rob,
a gnome monk.
No, monk.
Okay.
I'm sorry, no. Illusionist, of course.
Okay.
Was swept off of a tower and was killed. Does that make you feel better?
Did you videotape that? That would have been...
He was resurrected.
Oh.
Not a resurrection, baby. All right, so... But the first sentence underneath that says, the monk must have the opportunity to periodically make contact with the wall. So they're sort of bouncing, too.
Right.
I mean, they're...
Yeah, it's the idea, and, the people are saying they run down the walls, kind of like very martial arts like. Okay. Yeah, Matrix, whatever you want to call it.
Right, okay, yeah, to slow the fall. So no damage is sustained. I mean, I don't know.
So in some ways, they are definitely better than thieves because that's the bane of any first-level thief is, all right, go climb the wall and see, do some spying. They fail their climb check, and now they're knocked out. Here, it's almost like they have a ring of feather falling, whatever. They can survive up to 20 feet and not be damaged.
Do I have to join the Thieves Guild?
But that's at 4th level.
Do I have to join the Thieves? If I want to steal things, so I'm a lawful evil monk.
Well, you can't steal things. You don't have pickpockets.
Oh, I had not noticed that. Thank you. Yeah. I only have open locks, find room traps, move silently. So what is thieving activities? So if I'm hiding in shadows, is the Thief Guild going to get upset?
No, I don't think so. That's part of your disciples here.
Okay. So the only
Hey, David, thank you. Hey, you're a trooper, man. I'm sorry about this this delay in time. This is horrible. I feel bad.
You're unhappy about the time zones?
Well, because we shifted time now. He's even later.
They did not. Oh, I didn't. Okay.
It's 2 a.m. for him. It's crazy.
Well, why didn't they shift times?
I don't know. I don't know how. That's why we need to protest this. Do you have daylight savings? We don't have to talk about it now. But
he's snoring.
He's
out.
I give him a lot of credit. That's. I would get up earlier, but it's a struggle for us to get up. You have to drive over here. So.
Well, I would not listen to our podcast.
I wouldn't either. Oh, regardless of the time. Yes. Oh, I thought you meant.
No, right.
Yeah.
Regardless of the time.
That's right. Okay.
Okay. So this is all right.
So
I don't
cool.
have to join the thesis. So I don't. Are there any other ones? I had not noticed pickpockets. That makes sense.
Well, comprehend languages, like you said.
Right. Comprehend language and pickpockets are out. It looks like everything else is pretty much in. Right. And not that we don't have backstab, but okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. Now I got a lot of special. It's like, you know what it is. You know what the special abilities on the right is? It's like an advent calendar.
Yes.
I open up the little box.
You get a little cool thing.
So the first 2 days,
not
nothing.
so much.
Wah, wah.
Yeah.
But then I get stuff, just like random stuff.
Yeah.
I get to speak with animals. That's kind of cool.
Right.
I had my monk character, right? So Michael in the adventure, he used to speak with animals, and I'm very friendly. I'm not going to be like they're too stupid to talk to you. They talked. You mask ESP. Not subject to disease.
That's amazing. So again, at 5th level, if you can survive, before we get into all that, there's very cool stuff, and we'll go over each of them. Here's the final kick in the teeth. The experience points goes crazy as far as experience points needed.
You need a lot?
After a while. Yeah,
okay.
You start needing to need more and more. Mm-hmm. It's on par with a paladin as far as experience. It starts a little bit lower. But by 6th level, if you want to be a 7th level monk, you need more experience than a paladin.
Yeah. And then at
then
some point I got to go find people and kill them.
There's some discussion about that too. We'll get into that. All right. So yes, go back to your advent calendar thing. I think that's really good.
Right. So on D, so at 6th level, I can basically feign death. Right. I appear dead, play dead. Right, and I will. You're dead, right?
Yep.
I don't. If you inspect me, it appear that I'm dead. Which that would be nice to actually have that at 1st level.
Right.
When the party makes slaughtered, I've got 2 hit points or something.
Exactly.
I could use that sooner. At 7th level, okay, so this is like lay on hands, like a paladin, right? I can heal damage to my body, right?
Even though they're not either their own class. Again, I agree with you. They should have been more of the cleric class or paladin, something of something like that. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, the paladin is a little cleric-y.
Yeah.
The paladin should be its own thing. It's like a cleric kind of fighter hybrid. Okay.
Yeah, I mean the point is this is not these skills or these powers are not derived from divine powers. These are psionic things, which again we'll talk about later. As people struggled to try to make the monk more relevant, they really embraced the psionic part of it, which again is an optional thing, but there's all these psionic abilities are basically you're adding to this.
Oh, if you have psionic abilities, well then, yeah, you've got, all right, we'll talk about that. So I can speak with plants.
Yep.
At 8th level, I always thought that was interesting because I really didn't think plants would have really anything to say since they're not intelligent, but
they can speak with them.
I can go with that. That's fun.
Well,
I don't
it's
mind
like
that.
a druid.
It's fun.
They speak with plants.
I know, but I still think that's weird. But
right.
I think it's fun. Whatever. Weird but fun. G, so at where am I at now? What am I at 9th level? Beguiling charms, hypnosis, and suggestion spells have only a 50% chance of affecting me. So that's fine. And the percentage chance increases.
Yeah, you're 9th level now, though. That's painful.
Yeah. At H, so I'm now at 10th level, telepathic and mind blast attacks upon a monk are made as if I have an 18 intelligence. Okay. I don't really know anything about that. I'd assume if I run into a mind flare, apparently.
So your higher intelligence, the less likely to be affected, though you could potentially, the damage if you fail your save would be worse.
Oh.
Because you have to use the if you don't have psionics, you have to go to the psionics versus a psionicless creature. And again, the only thing, if you use psionics, which again is an option, that'll be an optional podcast when we go over psionics. +2. Well, thank you, sir. The +2 for our roll, thanks to David. Good night, Chamberlain.
Good night, Chamberlain.
if you have psionics, the only thing you can do to non-psionics as far as attack modes is psionic blast. So that's why mind flayers are scary, because they're the only attack that non-psionics can be affected by. And your save is dependent on your combination of wisdom and intelligence. So having a higher intelligence makes your save better.
Okay.
That's the simple.
So if I happen to run into a mind flare?
Well, they're in all the D and G series. They're in the end of G, and they're in the D series.
And there's a great picture. Isn't there a great illustration that mind flare is like?
Yeah, blasting. Yeah, that's right? Exactly.
Okay, so at 11th level and higher, I'm not affected by poison of any type. Yep. So if you're going to try to assassinate me, I don't think so with poison.
And now they're immune to disease, immune to poison. That's awesome.
Okay.
And the part I do like about this, and this is the first class that really has, as each level, they get something new. Mm-hmm. All the other classes, they may get a new spell, they may get something, but it's really not a unique ability. Right. So that is also very cool.
Yeah, you're packing up all these interesting things. Geese, am I pronouncing that correct? Yeah. And quest spells. So have no effect upon. I know a quest spell.
Yeah, Geese is similar. It's you are compelled to do something.
Yeah.
And I'm almost sure there's no save, so that's always painful.
Okay.
Okay.
And then the last and perhaps most terrible power. The quivering palm is pretty cool. So I touch you, right, and deadly vibrations come upon you. I can do it once per week. Must touch intended victim. So do I just have to? Can I just like touch you? So if you're not hostile to me,
right,
I can just touch you. I don't even need to hit probably.
No, I would never do that. I don't allow any attack. I always say you have to roll.
Because you got to kind of get your hand on there, right. Even if
unless if they're helpless or asleep, then yes, potentially you could do that.
What if you're my spouse and I'm like,
well, I assume I'm rolling initiative all the time against her. I have to make my surprise roll if I'm going to make it to hit roll. Thank you, I'll be here all week. That's right.
She has a magical chastity belt.
That's right. I have to pick locks already, so thank you.
Right. Foil magical closures.
That's right. That's it. Failed my initiative.
You're out. You do reaction roll.
She
attacks you. Get your hands off me.
Immediate attack.
Okay. So once per week. So all right. So you're always doing an attack roll on that. I've got to touch the intended victim with 3 melee rounds. So once I set out to do it, I got 3 rounds. I got 3 minutes, or it expires.
Yeah.
So I'm on the clock.
Exactly.
I'm gonna go to do the quivering palm, and it's like, okay, you got 3 minutes, right. Or you lose it. It expires. It drains. It's gone. No undead or creatures which can be hit only by magical. So I can't do the quivering palm on the Periton?
No. Apparently not. The time limit of death command is 1 day per level the monk has gained at the time the power is used. I don't even know.
So this is basically what I'm doing is I'm announcing when this is going to trigger.
Yeah.
Like when you're going to die. It doesn't happen immediately. I set these tremors like the duration. I'm going to do this amount of time.
It's sublime, and then it kicks in. That's crazy.
Do I announce in advance?
I don't know.
So set up vibration of the body, can control such vibrations so as to cause death to occur when the monk stops them.
Yeah.
So I don't even need to be touching you anymore.
Yeah.
So the question is, do I have to say, okay, I want these to stop in 2 days?
I guess so. I've never had a 13th level monk that I've had to deal with, so this would be something I'd have to go through because this is more crazy. Is that the grog line?
Is that the grog line? I don't think so. Considering this phone number is not the grog line number.
Oh, okay.
The odds would be remote.
All right. All right, very good. I mean, it's a cool thing, and certainly, again, that ability to just straight out kill someone, that's pretty amazing. Because there's no save.
The command to die must be given by the monk within a set time limit. Or they just simply cease and they peter out. So I guess I get to set the time limit. All right. The time limit of death command is 1 day per level of experience. Oh, so I can give, so if I'm a 15th level, I can anytime up into 15 days?
Right.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. So you have to set up the vibrations, you touch them, and then you can put a time limit of they don't die right away. I'm not sure why you would do that.
No, because I'm a cool assassin. So then it's like not around. Like, what happens is, no, you set it up so that they die while they're eating the meal at the king's table, and everyone suspects the king is murdered, is poisoned.
Right. Yeah.
You'd be a cool assassin.
That's
Can I
why
be a monk assassin?
Well, no.
Oh.
You can't be multi-class monk.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
No, you can't. All right, but the victim can't be more hit dice than me.
Yeah.
Right, and no event more than.
That's right. So oh, that's really cool. So now you start with want want. Back to the want want. You can only use
strictures.
You can't wear armor.
No armor.
Nothing. You only with weapons listed. So because you're always finding +2 joysticks out there. There's always the +3.
I gave it. That's right. I mean, that is rough. I mean, you really need a DM who's trying to help you out, right? And laying
the +5 bow stick defenders, even a +1 club.
Yeah, because a lot of mods, I always thought that was interesting. Yeah, the magical bow stick. I guess it can be made, right? But
sure.
But the problem is the magic user isn't seeing a large market for this. Like if you're making spending all that time. Well, you have no
money. That's the other thing. You can't retain only a small amount of treasure. So who's paying to make a magical bow stick? If only people, monks are the ones who want a bow stick.
Oh, that's right.
How are they paying for them if they have no money?
That'd be like, am I going to do something for people who are like, the unemployed? Like I know, we'll do a business that we sell things to the girls asking for a handout.
Yeah, that seems odd.
No, you're right. This is terrible. So you're right. The percentage of magical bow sticks, it's going to be pretty low.
Right. And they can only use limited items.
Yeah, so you can't keep much. Oh, and the starting gold.
Yeah, it's trivial.
It's really low. It's a GMG, isn't it? Oh, no, I'm sorry.
5 to 20 gold pieces.
Just make it 0. What am I buying? So 5 to 20. I mean, the good news is, can I even buy any of these weapons?
You can buy a bow stick.
Can I?
I think you can buy a stick.
Some of these weapons I can't even afford.
Yeah.
Right? At first level.
I don't even think they have a bow stick. They just assume it's a stick. You can.
I just walk out.
You just get your own.
Some druid then starts attacking me for taking it. Strangles me. The druid's entangle. I just needed a bow stick.
A robe is 6 silver pieces. So that
you are definitely silver piece pinching.
You are still
right? At this
you have that cheap aesthetic because you're frugal. You're not tethered to the world. And based on the way most people play this game, you're not long for this world if you're
not. Let's see how many. Okay, let's see how much let's see how many gold pieces I get. How many times am I rolling this?
Wait a minute.
It's 5 to 20.
Yeah, 5 to 4. Yep.
So I'm rolling this. What? I'm rolling
4 more times.
4.
4. 6. 8. You have 9 gold.
So
pieces.
I have 90.
9. No, 9.
Not 90. 9.
No, 9.
What am I buying with 9? So I have 9 gold pieces. Let's go shopping.
Yeah, you can't buy a crossbow.
My credit limit is 9 gold pieces.
You can't buy a crossbow.
Yeah, I'll tell you. You tell me if I can buy it. Okay.
Okay, let's play that game.
I'd like to buy a bow stick.
Sure, because you find it on the ground.
Cool. Can I buy a club?
You find that on the ground too.
This doesn't seem right. Clubs are specially made, aren't they?
No, they're clubs. They're giant.
Yeah, but it's a club.
What's magical about a club? It's a club.
But someone has to carve it. I'm gonna carve it.
Why not?
Okay. Doesn't have to be the right wood.
No.
Just make a crack in half.
Yeah. Well, you could roll that.
All right. I want a crossbow.
What light or heavy?
Light.
That's 12 gold pieces.
Can't have that.
No.
Dagger.
That's a gold piece. 2 gold pieces with scabbard.
2 gold pieces.
Right.
All right. I'll take it without the scabbard.
So now, they don't sell it that way.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'll just take the scabbard.
Yes. I'll just have the scabbard.
I'm saving it up for the dagger.
Saving up for the dagger.
I gotta start small.
Oh my goodness.
That'll be a Christmas present.
So horrible.
We have a scabbard for your dagger.
So horrible. It's so horrible.
This is when you kill a kobold, you're like, oh, I'm taking the scabbard.
That's right. I'm waiting for it. Yeah, exactly.
Hand axe? No way.
Well, a hand axe is 1 gold piece.
I need rations. Javelin? No way.
10 silver pieces. You get one.
All right, we can stop here. I mean, we've made our point, haven't we?
It's tough.
Because I need a robe.
Right, robe 6 silver pieces.
Am I wearing boots? Why do halflings wear shoes? They shouldn't be.
I know.
Okay, so, and then I need rations.
Yep.
I read somewhere that I think it was in Basic, Holmes Basic, that iron rations for the dungeon. Have you ever heard that? And that standard for not the dungeon.
Well, iron rations, they're preserved and they're lighter, so that's why you'd carry them.
I would carry them anywhere then. I don't know why I need them.
Because they're a lot more money. That's why.
Well, it has nothing to do with the dungeon.
And they're like camping food. It's not as good. It's like canned beans. And that kind of, it's just It's not as tasty as some of the other stuff.
So all right. So I can't keep any of the money I find. Really, don't have to donate most of it.
Yes.
Enough money for their modest need. So I'm assuming the player's going to be my modest need is I want a new house.
A chateau.
Exactly. Exactly. So I'm sure there's a lot of fights about that, right? How much can I keep?
They can't have henchmen until they turn master. They have limited magic items. They don't get any bonuses to increased hit for damage for strength, which is so horrible. Okay, Then you can get some henchmen. Then here we go, number 6. So hey, you've done a good job. You struggled thing, and then there are only a limited number of monks, just like druids and assassins. They're at 8th level. There are 3, and in 1 of each higher level. Then you have to find the other one and find and defeat in single combat hand to hand without weapons.
That's terrible, because he's higher level than me.
No, he's the same level.
Oh, I reached that level, so
right.
Okay, I don't need to beat him to beat that level. I just need to beat him.
No.
Oh, and if I don't do it really quickly...
I mean, that would be sucky. I would never rule that you'd be less level.
Right, I gotcha.
I would say you're the same level, but then you drop back if you survive.
There are 3 8th level. Right. When a player, character, monk gains sufficient experience points to qualify, but this is interesting. It says to qualify him or her for 8th level, the commensurate abilities are retained. Oh, yeah, I see. Only temporarily. Okay, right. So you do get them.
Yeah.
So I'm not really 8th level, but I'm acting like 8th level.
Right. It's like if you're going for your black belt test. You've learned the skills, and if you survive, they give you the belt.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah, that's exactly what this is like.
Yep.
That is this.
Yes.
Okay, and so I go, and this sucks though.
Yeah.
I guess I can stay. I don't have to go up. I'd be chicken.
That's true. And it doesn't have to be the death, and they talk about that, and we're going to talk in a second. You don't necessarily have to be a fight to the death. It says if you survive, you can go down.
But here's the problem, is that they might. Oh, well, what's my AC at 8th level?
8th level? It's AC 4.
I could die. They could hit me, and if they get 5 or higher than they need,
it could stun and kill you. Yeah.
Then they could kill me. So the things could go to as an accident.
That could happen.
Okay.
Yep.
Or I could be going up against a lawful evil, and he just keeps killing me.
Well, and that's
why wouldn't he? I'm like, you're just going to be back.
Well, that's what we're going to talk about, because I think there's things. So
he's going to stun me, and then he's going to bow stick me to death.
So yeah, and the challenge there is, okay, when you get higher level, you've gone up to, let's say, 10th level, and you're going to be 11th level. You gain 200,000 experience points. If you lose, a loser loses enough experience points to place him at the lowest number possible to attain the level just beneath the new level.
So back down to 7th level, just the hit points exact. The minimum needed to be 7th level.
Yeah. Just
start again.
Well, the lowest number possible to attain the level just beneath it. Yeah. So you just lost 200,000 experience. Well,
right.
Whatever.
I was okay because I was over 200,000, and now I'm at 98,000.
Right. You just lost 102,000 experience points.
Exactly.
What a kick in the teeth that is.
And I got to go after this guy sooner, right? I think the clock is ticking. The monk character will know where to locate the higher level monks, and he or she must proceed immediately to do combat, or else lose experience points equal to the number. So I've got to go. If I hesitate, I lose them.
Right.
Okay. That sounds like fun.
Yeah. Followers, they can have followers. Anyway.
And I can build a monastery.
And one thing we didn't talk about.
Not until.
I don't know how we missed this.
What it is.
We kind of skipped over it. Lawful. They must be lawful, but they can be evil, good, or neutral.
Right.
So, a lot of interesting things, a lot of good things. The problem is, I think, in real play, it was just painful. So in Dragon, so I know you didn't get a chance to look at this. So people try to fix this, and it was pretty early on. Was it page?
It is 53.
53. So
got a lot to kick about.
Right.
We are in Best of Dragon, Volume 3.
Yep, right there. There you go.
And it was from Dragon number 53.
So 81. So, this is what, 3 years after Player's Handbook came out, so you're showing it. And so they basically remodified this. They gave them a little more hit points. And
let's be clear. So this is
optional.
Meyer, so this is not Gygax. This is not canon. This is if you want.
Right. Again, he says, practical experience with the monk's character reinforced. Basically, it's just hard to play. Unless you're going to give them cool magic items to keep them alive, or they're going to sit in the back, they are just an XP sponge.
So this is where Gygax says they may look weak, but you're wrong. This is saying, no, they are weak.
They are weak.
They need help.
They are terrible.
Okay.
So
and this is all the complaining. I think that, right? So
yeah.
They turn the page, you get special abilities quicker, right? Yeah. Starting right at level 1.
You get special abilities quicker. You get some things. You actually do a little more damage.
Your AC starts lower.
Your AC starts low, which makes sense. Again, I think so if you want to tweak it, this is a good article, kind of goes through some of the arguments. You don't have to. And I played, Don played his monk. I gave him the choice. I said, you can either be this monk or you can be the monk in there. Now because he had high level stats, he said he rolled psionics. So he was a psionic monk. Here, all the abilities are very psionic replacing, because the idea is they're mentally tough. So I said, well, you have a choice. You can either be a monk with psionics or you can be the new monk. Which one do you want to be? He said, I'll be the monk with psionics. And that there's good and bad to it. What I do like about this is they answer the question about upper level advancement options. Because does it make sense there would just be one monastery where an 8th level one would be lawful good, and then the 9th level would be lawful evil? It would make sense if there's a lawful good order, a lawful neutral order, and a lawful evil order. In other words, if you're lawful evil, you're going to fight other lawful evil monks and move up that rank.
Right.
The Scarlet Brotherhood's for lawful evil, and the Way of the Rose is lawful neutral, or whatever the case may be. You wouldn't be bouncing back and forth fighting.
So you think there's like 3? Because what's the highest? The Grand Master?
Yeah. There'd be 3 for each order at a minimum.
I see.
In the world, right? And so you would go.
That's what this article says.
That's right.
Right. Okay. But in the
there's no
just one.
Well, it doesn't delineate. It just says once you get this level, you have to find the one who's there, and it doesn't say that they're in different things.
Right. Oh, and so I made a good point about online about if you get 3 open hand attacks, that's multiple chance for the quivering palm.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
So it sounds like the monks are cool when you get higher level.
Yeah, and
magic users, you got to suffer through the low levels.
And one of the things is you could say that lawful evil must be fighting to the death, whereas lawful good, you may not even say combat. You may have to wait. Kind of like a government job. You got to wait for someone to retire or die before you can.
Right. Maybe a chess match.
Yeah, or a chess match. So they have percentages of that. So again, certain. I would definitely look it over if you're going to allow for a monk, because it beefs them up. It makes them a little more palatable. I'm not a big fan of the experience points table. They kind of nerfed it a little too much, in my humble opinion, for all the skills that they get. So I would mix and match. That would be my recommendation. So that's in volume 3, or what did we say? 58, I think it was, something like that.
58, 53.
53, 58.
I mean, page 53 there. Maybe.
Oh, 53, okay.
I think 53 there.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yep. And 53, they're on 53 and issue 53.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Well, very good. I think that's, we talked about the Scarlet Brotherhood, we talked about Dragon Magazine. There's such good things about it, and there's such weirdness and drama, heart. Again, a lot of folks like the idea of it, but it's still a little bridge to climb to get to a monk that's playable.
Well, and here's the good news. It's up to the player.
Yeah.
If they want to play it, like you said, Don, go for it.
Right.
You enjoy it, you'll have a good time, play it. I would have to lean a lot as the DM on the player to tell me what they're doing. You know what I mean? All that business, reminding me of a lot of this stuff. They need to know their abilities and their dodging and the chance to miss. I don't want to have to remember all of that stuff as the DM. So I'd say, yeah, of course you can be a monk, but I'm going to lean on you to remind me of your abilities. So you need to be aware of your abilities, because I don't want to remember them all.
Yeah, and again, the challenge there is if you have players who just want to play the monk, but they're not going to spend time working on them, they shouldn't be playing it.
Yeah.
I think that's some of the problem with some of these classes. They require player involvement, and if you have players who are either casual, who are not going to put the time in, it can be more of a burden for you.
To be sure.
I love new players when they want to be magic users, but first edition magic users are not simple things to do, and they have to be willing to put the time in, because
first level's kind of simple.
Well, but even then, casting a spell is not a trivial matter.
Right.
If you cast sleep the wrong way and you're playing it rules as written, you could take out some of your party, and they don't think that way. They just say, "I cast sleep."
Right, because it's an area of effect.
And if you're in the, and if using the example of here are the hobgoblins and you're the magic user back here, and I say I cast sleep right here, you could take out the whole party.
Right.
If you do it the wrong way.
Right.
That's not fair to the new player who's just like, I just want to cast sleep. Can I pick? No, that's not how it works. You can't pick them.
They're not coming back.
Yeah, you can't pick the hobgoblins. You have to. It's an area.
But they didn't know, and too late. You said it.
And and then you're being a jerk, and they didn't want to do all that. So anyway, it's that part's interesting. So anything else on the monk?
You know, at the end of the day, I think it's fine. And again, I grew up with it, and that probably colors my view on it. I never questioned it much at the time. I was used; it was canon. I took the book as it was written. And so I think they can be pretty cool with the right players. And they can probably be great NPCs. I think, again, if you got a good DM playing them or you got a good player playing them.
I agree. I think if this is where the DM should be a little charitable, if you have characters, classes that are a little more challenging. Mm-hmm. You know, you can't have, this character is going to be weak initially. You need to tailor some of your encounters to support that. There's fun things that they could do, but if you play your traditional hack and slash, they don't get to use a lot of their skill set.
That's true. That is true. So that does put a little bit of a burden on the DM to customize it for the player. So
make it more
a little
fun.
bit of fun. Exactly.
That's it.
It's sort of like, I also sort of warn players that if they want to be a druid, but it is a dungeon adventure, there may be, I know there's things you can do, but it might be a little bit more of a challenge than if it's outdoors.
Yeah, and I love the idea of them being the thief replacement. That's a great idea.
Yeah, for the good party.
And in fact, I would probably give some bonuses for that, just because then if you have the thief who's evil or neutral, you get all the drama with the stealing and
right. They don't even have pickpocket. So not only can they be lawful good, they're not even picking your pockets.
Right. The problem is they're human, so they're not again optimal. But again, hopefully you're not. If you're picking a monk, you're not worried about optimal.
Right.
Right. All right. Very cool. Let's talk about a suggestion. Actually, did you have a suggestion?
Well, I'm going to probably lean on your, I'm probably going to, I see what's up there. And so I'm probably going to recommend maybe another magazine too. But so why don't we start with yours?
Right.
I'm very excited to learn about this.
So I was having a conversation with Menyon, our good friend from Japan. He's over there. And he was telling me about this magazine. And we were chatting last night, and it was called Adventure Magazine, not to be confused with Adventure Gaming Magazine, which was an American. So I guess in the mid '80s, there's all these kind of startup magazines besides the fanzines. This was a proper UK-based tabletop role-playing magazine. And said, hey, it's really good. And he recommended the Dark Tower Adventures. There's the first two editions, issues of the magazine had this module, and it's a Beersran Keep is part one. And he mentioned it was not only was it a good adventure, but the setting of it, they used it over and over again. So I looked it up. You can get it on Noble Knight or on eBay. There are also scanned copies on archive.org. I don't know if that's legitimate or not. Some things on archive is legitimate or not. Sometimes it is open license, so again, your mileage may vary. But it's a really cool magazine when I quickly looked it over. But the thing I saw, so I was flipping through it, and you and I were talking before we went on the podcast. When I used to get my Dragon magazines and I'd pull them up, I was a very TSR snob. If it wasn't from TSR, I didn't really care about it. It almost felt like fan fiction, and I didn't. But now, as I've grown older, I like looking through those old ads. It's so fascinating to kind of peruse that. It didn't matter. So I was kind of scanning it as I was chatting with him, and I saw this thing, this article, and I won't show it to everyone else. There was apparently in 1986 in Manchester, they did a rock and roll fantasy play called Firestone. And it was from March 18th. Mortals, prepare to marvel as four young adventurers embark upon the awesome quest for the Firestone. Our contestants found themselves have been through many early battles. They're tasked to free the benighted land of Zamestris from the evil Succorix the sorceress, to free all mortal men of that country from whom she has abdicated and imprisoned in the castle Hell's Mouth. And so, mortals, prepare to join the quest. Firestone, the game where you choose who wins. So basically, you're like the audience, and they're doing this live role play. It's almost like streaming before streaming happened. This is amazing. Did anyone actually see this? I want to.
Well, we need to find Peter, either Fieldston.
Yeah.
Right? He wrote the play.
I think we should reenact it. If we could get the thing, we should reenact the Firestone.
That would be great, wouldn't it?
Right. I saw this and I'm like, what? There was a play. People would pay £2 or whatever it was. We don't know.
That's what they're charging.
I don't know.
We don't know.
I don't know, but I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
They said it was going to run from March 27th to April. We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. A rock and roll fantasy. And I love it. Rock and roll. R-O-L-E.
R-O-L-E. Exactly.
A rock and roll fantasy. And is that because it's the Firestone? Is that the rock?
I guess. Maybe.
A rock and roll.
Well, his music.
Fantasy.
It's a
Stephen Warbeck. Mortals. Yeah, this is great.
If there's a YouTube of that, we would do it. We would totally. That would be on GROGTALK. If this is available, GROGTALK 2020, we would reenact Firestone.
You're the guy. You're the shirtless guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait, what does it say? Yes. Oh, I can't read that very well.
It's very well. I'll have to look up.
She's saying, "Shut up."
She's got a guitar.
Oh, and put some trousers on. What kind of play is this?
That's what I'm saying.
What?
It's amazing.
This is very 80s.
Yes.
We may get in trouble.
Well, that's why I said we may get banned. I put it on Twitter. I'm like, someone has got to have been there.
Shut up.
Someone who lived in Manchester in the 80s. If you saw this, or you got to let us know what it was about. So,
yes,
I'll send you this stuff. But to me, this would be amazing. And it was a live game. You know, we talk about now how streaming has become so popular, people watching D&D, and we never would have thought about watching D&D. This was done in 1986, where you could go watch a play, and you chose a thing. So then there was later, apparently this was a thing, because later they had a Q&A. Question, what do the Rock Hour stage show, traditional adult pantomime, and fighting quest books have in common? Firestone.
Oh my God.
We gotta get this.
We know we should do this at the, what is that little local Fringe festival?
Oh, the Fringe, okay.
We can put it on.
Yeah.
No, it would be at GROGTALK.
It would be amazing.
So GROGTALK. So we need to tell Craig Russell we need a stage. We need a theater. We need to find a place where there's a theater.
Yes, something. Yeah, theater, something like that. Because
Dirk the Dice.
Yeah, Dirk the Dice, of course, from Grognard Files. Again, one of my favorite.
They probably, you know what? They probably were the actors.
Well, I tweeted this out, and he follows me. I follow him. I hope he knows about this.
Do we have to have singing ability? Sounds like we have to sing. Rocky Horror was singing, wasn't it?
We'll find singers. The play begins with Suckarax, the sorceress, stealing the Firestone, thereby reversing the sex roles of the world. Come on, this is the quest master announces to the players they must go on a final quest in their role-playing game to retrieve the gem. The players don their costumes and, assisted by maps and riddles, are told to seek Suckarax's castle. It is here that the game becomes reality. The quest master has taken them back in time and they're in real danger. From here on out, it's really unclear whether the game ends or reality begins. Both for the audience and the cast, adding to the reality of their reaction. Surprise, fear, and suspense are the desired effects.
So not only do I have to prep for adventures, I have to learn my lines.
Yes, and you have to decide, and I guess apparently the play consists of two parts. The second half of which is chosen by the number of people leaving via a certain exit during the interval. The intermission.
Well, I see what you mean. Suggesting they're not coming back. I think they're coming back. It's intermission.
It's
an intermission.
Right. There's an intermission. If, for example, the audience wishes to side with the boys, they leave by the left door. For the girls, the right door. There are many subplots to keep the actors guessing. There's got to be a video.
It's a lot of effort because we need a script.
Right. I need the script. We need this. This has got to be redone. You want to talk about nostalgia?
You're excited.
This is. If we did this would be better than crunching cereal. I'm sorry.
Oh, we'd have to videotape it.
Well, it would be it would be live. We'd be doing it live at GROGCon.
All right.
Firestone.
Are you going to see for copyright infringement?
I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
We would get license.
We need to find this guy. You need to find that author. Was it Field? Yeah.
Firestone and the guy. So I tweeted it, and hopefully we'll get some answers.
Here, look. What's his name? You type in Manchester. Why would anyone leave Manchester? What's this guy? So you have the author's name?
Okay, they're retweeting it. Cool, thank you.
What's the author's name?
Hold on.
Peter. I think it was Peter.
Yeah, Peter. Fieldson, Fiedson. I hope he's not passed.
That's always a risk. There's a 25%, 50? 50% chance. He's alive.
Good. Wow.
Peter S-T-O-N-E?
Son, S-O-N.
Oh.
Field, F-I-E-L-D-S-O-N.
Manchester.
Yeah, Manchester. Well, I don't know if he's from Manchester. They just presented it.
Well,
Manchester.
He's probably. Why would you travel far to do that?
Contact Theatre, Oxford Road, Manchester 15. They have a coffee bar. Licensed bar from 6:30. I would be drinking if I watched that.
I'm not getting. All right, I don't know. I'm not getting a lot here. God. Oh wait, look at this. Peter Fieldson's positively The Last Supper. What? Two of the plays selected that first year. Plays. He's done other.
Yeah,
oh well, now you're on to something. If you can figure out who, right? Archive record, Northwest Playwrights Archive.
We're gonna get on that.
Wow. Okay. All right.
We need to find him and see if he has a script or he has a film. They've got to film it. There's got to be a VHS tape of it back in the day.
Two of the plays selected that first year, 1983. Norman Leach's whatever. Peter Fieldson's Positively The Last Supper went on to receive successful professional productions.
Okay, there you go.
Wow. All right.
I'm going to see if he's on Twitter.
Yeah.
Is that amazing or what? Come on, we got to do that. All right.
Sounds intense.
So that's our suggestion. So that's my suggestion.
No, that's I can't. After that, what do I got?
I don't know. Well, but there is Adventure Gaming Magazine, which is a U.S. one. And you said there may be a Canadian one too.
Oh, there was. I can't remember. I don't have the name. There's a lot of magazines out there. Like, of course, Imagine Magazine. Yep. More well known, of course, White Dwarf. There's one. I can't remember the one in Canada. There's one in Canada that had a bit of a run. So, and there's an Irish magazine. I'm running the Beholder contracts in March, which comes from an Irish RPG magazine from the 80s. So there's a lot of magazines out there. So my suggestion is really just sort of basically piggybacking on your idea, which is, start discovering some of these magazines other than Dragon Magazine. There's a lot of good adventures in there, a lot of interesting articles.
I was very cloistered, as I think I've mentioned a number of times. We only went to our local gaming store, and that was our universe. I didn't.
Sure. Same here.
And even with Dragon Magazine, I didn't even think about looking at the article. I looked for the modules or rulings because that was our Unearth Arcana. At the time, it was our sage advice. That was rulings that we never felt comfortable with. That was the first thing we read. Were we playing the game right? It was our only conduit to the real world, and for whatever reason, we discounted all the other articles and adverts.
They're hard to find. I think I remember seeing White Dwarf, but a lot of this stuff wasn't available to us.
And our gaming store was a hobby shop. It had a rack of things, and then it was B. Dalton's or Barnes and Noble, whatever it was at the time.
Right.
And they had a rack of modules. Right. It wasn't a whole. It wasn't a local gaming shop that had a big community. If they did, we didn't know about it.
Right. We were lucky that we had that down here. We had Enterprise 1701, which is a gaming store. So we were very lucky.
And now Sci-Fi City, and we've played there a number of times. And what's the gentleman's name?
Troy.
Troy, great guy. He's helped us a lot.
Right. And not Troy Pope from the 80s that many people know.
That's
from a different Troy. Yeah.
So, very cool. Well, that is our quest. I think that would be super. At least get a video of it. I'd love to see how that actually, the mechanics of it. Because everyone's all enamored with live streaming. Apparently, they were doing live role play, LARPing before LARPing. Because I don't know when LARPing started. That'd be interesting too. When LARPing, this is almost LARP-esque. So, all right. It's time to roll D10, and we're going to honor our Chamberlain with a +2 to our roll.
Okay.
So let's make it happen. 4 + 2 is 6. Okay. That's good.
It's hard to do a high score with a monk, isn't it? On a monk episode.
Yeah, monk is hard.
Monk's hard to do. Really
Monk's hard, but 6 is okay. Yeah. So, and again, where you live kind of dictated your experience, and that's why I think we're now old enough that, and the internet has allowed us to kind of peer back. And speaking of Minion, I think that's why we have settled our podcast and our kind of our RPG. Our thing of choice is that golden era from 74 up to 84, 85. There's 11 years of material plus from out the world. That's more than we'll probably ever need. It's not discounting other people's editions. It's just there's stuff that we didn't discover when we were that age, and it's for us it's almost evergreen. And so we're very very fortunate that we live in this time that we can acquire things that are good like that. So I mean that's why we're focused on it. And I think there's an audience not only for the people who are of our age or similar who didn't get to do it because of various circumstances, but it is the history of the game that we all, whatever edition you're running or whatever style, this is, the start of it. So, yeah, again, we had a really good conversation. So again, thank you, Minion, for all that. Anything else for the good of the order for today that we can think of?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so we're on, obviously, YouTube. We're on Twitter. We have a website. Send your questions, comments, suggestions, restraining orders to info@grogcon.com. That's info@grogcon.com. We're on Google Play, iTunes. Please review, like, and subscribe. We are very close to a milestone, 100 subscribers.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
You know what would be funny is if we had 100 and we celebrated and then someone unsubscribed.
Unsubscribe.
Well, I guess we celebrate again.
We would
celebrate. Got another one.
That's all we would do. Very exciting. And then, yeah, the production goblin's like, oh, until you get 100 subscribers, I don't care. So I'd love to rub that in his face. So if you haven't subscribed, please.
No, that's it. We're going to hit 100 and he's going to unsubscribe.
Yeah.
The production goblin.
Yeah, well, if
he's probably not even subscribed.
Yeah, he's not subscribed.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I don't know that for a fact. Maybe he would be. So we are very excited about our next guest, Daniel Collerton, who is from basically designed the world that you ran last weekend, right?
Yeah, right. So he wrote Aurelian,
yep.
City, designed a city in White Dwarf, and had an accompanying adventure called The Rising of the Dark, which I ran last weekend.
Heard it went well.
Thank you. It went well. It's a really, really good adventure, and I can't wait to talk to him about it.
Yeah, I talked to him briefly last week. Really engaging fella, and looking forward to talking to him. So we'll kind of codify things. We may do that, and then bring Pritzy and Glade, because we may need our patrons are clamoring for a follow-up adventure. So I put that out as our special patron thing, and I got a lot of comments. Thank you so much. We'd miss them. They love them. They think it's great.
Okay.
So as far as I did post, next week was Daniel. Then we're going to start thinking about our optional podcast, right? We have Bards and we have Psionics is coming up. Then we're going to talk about multi-class. We've got a lot of great shows coming up. So again, thank you to our patrons. Thank you to our friends on chat. Really appreciate all the support. We also need to start talking about our live play. We want to do an end of year celebration.
Yep.
So we need to do live chat, live streaming of that. So for GROGTALK, I'm James.
I'm Dan.
And we will see you next week on GROGTALK. Have a great day and a great week.
Thanks, guys.